this. But when I explain how I can help them get out of debt, those feelings melt away. I'm Parveen Middleton, licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I will create a personalized debt relief plan so you can move forward with confidence. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Hi everyone, Sarah
and Neil
from Arcan RV.
We are back and we're celebrating spring with Arcan Days.
Well, we were always here. We've been around for 49 years.
That's true. We're kicking off another amazing RV season with some huge deals, showcasing our new brand, Cougar, Raptor toy haulers, and Coleman trailers starting at just $17,999.
Plus, special finance rates on remaining 2025 models with an extra $2,500 trade-in credit. Check out arcanrv.com for details. Connecting you to RVing since 1950.
They've also hit several. Here's McDavid looking for the equalizer. Blue Shark gets back to that fraud.
Well, that's better. Lisa 2026 Tundra 4x4 double top.
They've also hit several. Here's McDavid looking for the equalizer. Blue Shark gets it back to that fraud.
Well, this is McMillan.
Think of quality golf cart. At the Golf Cart People, we have a fantastic selection of fully inspected, pre-owned carts starting at just $4,500. Choose from gas, electric, or lithium-ion power to fit your lifestyle. And the best part, every used cart comes with a 1-year warranty for total peace of mind. Why wait? Get the cart you've always wanted today. Visit the Golf Cart People. Find out more at golfcartpeople.com.
And the Kings come back. 2-on-1 puppets on the pit in the swing.
This info.
Look at the
stock inventory.
With every vehicle purchase, you can return to Putt for Dough.
2-on-1.
Just sink your putt to win fantastic prizes like gas cards, big screen TVs, Blackstone griddles, and more.
And there
goes
goes
the full detail.
And there goes
above expectations.
CanTorque has
and
turned
taking the lead.
25 years of building tools so good, they practically torque themselves. Hard work and innovation equals problem solved. See our latest designs at CanTorque.com.
The Jason Gregor Show. On Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
And there goes the ball. Trout with his second home run. An absolute blast. And at long last, the Angels have taken the lead. Well, a tremendous Tuesday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the show. Hope you are having a lovely Tuesday. The NHL playoff participants are set. Last night, confirmed the Philadelphia Flyers are in. They will be the number 3 seed in the Metro. So we know 2 series now. Dallas, Minnesota, and now the Battle of Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. But that's it. There's still lots of options. The other 3 series in the East we'll wait for. 3 series in the West we'll wait for. The Anaheim Ducks and the Los Angeles Kings both punched their ticket last night. The Ducks didn't do anything. They didn't play. But Nashville lost. So they're out. And the Kings won. And with the Preds loss, they're in. Now, the race for wild card seedings and first, second, third, and fourth in the Pacific are right up for grabs. Now, Vegas is in the driver's seat. Vegas has 93 points. If they get 1 point, they will win the division. Edmonton needs to win their game and hope that Vegas loses their game in regulation. If that happens, they could finish first. But Anaheim could win both their games, and then they could finish first if Vegas doesn't get a point. So lots of what ifs. The LA Kings, if they win both of their games, they'd finish with 93 points. Lots of things can happen. So we'll probably have to come. Well, it's going to come down to Thursday because that's when the Edmonton Oilers play. The Anaheim Ducks are playing tonight against the Minnesota Wild. And the Canucks are hosting the Los Angeles Kings. So you might get a little bit clearer of a picture. All we do know, the Edmonton Oilers control their destiny. Beat Vancouver Canucks, and you're guaranteed to stay in the top 3 in the Pacific Division. Whether it's 1, 2, or 3 remains to be seen. But you win that game, there's a really good chance that you'll be in the 2-3 game. Now, Anaheim, they haven't been playing great. But Minnesota rested a lot of their guys last night. Are they going to play a lot of those guys tonight? They could on home ice. They might say, hey, let's just get sharpened, ready to go, because it is the Wild are playing their last game of the season tonight. Now, maybe they rest them all again, but I have a sneaking suspicion they don't. So, Anaheim, you lose tonight, the Kings win. Now, suddenly, it could be an Oilers LA again. And I don't know, just like the Anaheim Ducks series would be way more exciting, I'll tell you that. And honestly, I think it would be an easier series for the Edmonton Oilers. I think the LA Kings would be a tougher out than the Anaheim Ducks at this point. Just Anaheim has yet to find a defensive structure all season long. So that would be my concern. But the Oilers last night against Colorado was a solid game. You know, it's pretty low scoring here. 1-0 against the Kings, 1-1 in regulation. Goes to a shootout. The Oilers remain perfectly bad in the shootout. They're 0 for 4. Last night, they scored a few goals. And I like the fire from Connor Ingram. Did not like his shootout. He was great in regulation, but allowed 3 goals on 3 shots in the shootout. So he was not happy. You saw his reaction right after the game. But overall, not much to complain about that game for the Oilers. I thought they played well, but didn't dominate. Actually, you know what? The now that Tampa Bay lost, Tampa Bay and Montreal, I think that one's locked in too, because Tampa Bay can't catch Buffalo. So yeah, that's 3. So the 2 threes, we have 3 2-3 sets. So we know 3 out of 8. So now though, Tampa Bay and Montreal, Tampa Bay wins, they get home ice. They need Montreal to lose if Tampa Bay loses to and in regulation to maintain it. So still, the Habs have something to play for. Tampa Bay has something to play for. Home ice advantage. Trust me. Montreal would probably want it more, right? An opening game in Montreal, that's a big advantage. Make no mistake about it. But that should be a hell of a series. So now Carolina, you're going to get Boston or they're going to get Ottawa. Ooh. Jeremy Swayman's been great for Boston. Ottawa as a team, I think, has been better. And now if they get decent goaltending, like if it's Ottawa, I might pick an Ottawa upset over Carolina, honestly. I would lean towards it. Even Ottawa Buffalo, like that is not a free pass for the Buffalo Sabres at all. So the if I had to pick and I was those teams, I think I'd rather play Boston over Ottawa right now. Boston just gives up a lot. They've relied a lot on Jeremy Swayman. Whereas Ottawa, they don't give up very much. And now that they get decent goaltending, they're pretty good. So see where it goes. Other news today, we got a loaded show for you. Keith Gretzky is going to join us, the assistant GM of the Oilers. He is the Condors GM. We'll get a little kind of summary of the season. They still got a few games left, and they're going to get into the playoffs. Who are some guys now? He had a full season. We did know that Eichauer, before he got called up last night, was playing a little bit of penalty kill. Good for him, just kind of rounding out his game somewhat. Dave McCarthy will be by. Strudwick, Speck, DVD, Cam Tate. So we got a big, busy show. Paul Sir will talk some basketball as the NBA play-ins begin tonight. 1 game win, and you move on in the 7 and 8. If you lose that game, you get another chance. But whoever wins out of the Hornets and the Heat tonight, they move on. The loser's out. So you got Heat and the Hornets, and then the Trailblazers and the Suns. And then, of course, tomorrow, Magic and 76ers, Warriors, and the Clippers. So. And then Friday would be the final play-in games. And then the Raptors will begin their playoffs on Saturday morning at 11 a.m., which is perfect time. Paul, sir, the show will be on Hoop City, and we'll probably talk a little basketball as it goes. So we got NBA starting on Saturday. NHL schedule has yet to be released. It's going to be released later this week, but it will start on Saturday and Sunday. I got to think. Like, they've never done it before where you would play Thursday and then play Saturday. I don't see how any NHL team is going to agree to that. And honestly, I don't think it's necessary. Because if you look at how it's set up, you've got teams finishing the season Tuesday or Wednesday. Those teams can play on Saturday. Like, this is not hard. And the teams who finish on Thursday, they can start on Sunday or Monday. So it seems pretty, that to me is the most fair, and it makes the most sense. That's what I would expect to see happen. Cons, anything stand out for you last night in the Order game?
You know what? I mean, overall, defensively, anytime you hold the Avs, even down players to 1 goal, I think it's pretty impressive. The power play, 5-on-3 with over a minute.
No, they kept doing the same play.
Yeah, it's like, you're trying to get that. Was it kind of like a backdoor tap in there?
Yeah,
trying to
like
get
every time.
It wasn't working. It wasn't there. Try something else. And then when they did, it gets blocked. But I think can't really complain too much. Overtime loss, shootout loss to a team like the Colorado Avalanche, as good as they are. I'm not going to pick apart the game too much. Oilers down some players, so are the Avs. But I think maybe a little bit of a sign that, hey, they can hang with them. Like, they didn't get blown out of the water by any means, down 2 of their best players. So overall, I thought it was an encouraging performance by the Oilers, despite not getting the 2 points.
833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, what's the Oilers' 5-on-3 power play percentage? It's 37.5% this year. They have 3 goals on 8 opportunities of 5-on-3, which ranks them tied with Colorado for 13th in the NHL at 37.5%. Winnipeg has only had 1 5-on-3. They went 1 for 1. They're 100%. Columbus is 4 out of 6. Pittsburgh's 5 out of 8. Calgary and San Jose are both 6 out of 10. Tampa and Detroit are both 4 out of 7. Toronto 1 for 2. Utah 3 for 6. The Hurricanes 6 for 13. And the Bruins 4 for 9. And the Kings are 3 for 7. Those are the teams that are better than the Oilers on a 5-on-3. 4-on-3. The Oilers are 2 for 6. They've had 7 minutes and 8 seconds of 4-on-3. If you're looking at how much total 5-on-3 time the Oilers have had, they've actually had the 6th most time at 8:56, but only because they don't score in some of those opportunities, right? Their 8 opportunities at 5-on-3 are tied for 15th with a boatload of other teams. So that's where you come out. It hasn't been awful, 37%, but not great. It's just above average. And last night, their power play is not as good without Leon Draisaitl. Captain Obvious, hello. We all see it. I think we all know it. And away we go. So, hey, guys, the shootout goals were awesome. All 5 of them. Most goalies don't stop any of those from Nogi. I don't know, man. Connor Ingram will disagree with you. He definitely didn't like the first one. He thought that's one where, yeah, it's a good shot by Nichushkin, but when you see the replay, he's in a pretty good position as a goalie to make a save. I can understand it. Why he would feel that he has to make a save. So didn't happen. And hey, it's a shootout. Guess what? There's only one other game you can see that this year, and that'll be Thursday night against the Canucks. Otherwise, no shootouts for another calendar year. And good news for the Oilers as they go 0 in the shootouts this season, which is obviously not ideal for them. You look at how many teams went 0 in a shootout. The Oilers 0 for 4. Utah hasn't had a shootout. So they're 0-0. What about the Ducks? They're 8-0. And that's it. So the only teams that haven't scored in the shootout are Edmonton and Utah, but Utah hasn't had a shootout. And conversely, the only teams that haven't given up a goal in the shootout, the Sabres 5-0, the Ducks 8-0, and Utah 0-0. So there you go, 0-0. But like the Oilers, I thought they had some good chances. I don't know if they had many great chances last night. Is that fair, Cons? I thought good chances, but not like, oh my God, some great chances.
Yeah, I would agree. Roslovic had a couple of chances, I think.
Like he had the one kind of partial breakaway. He's being pressured from the backside. And I will say this about Roslovic and the Oilers, like that guy, his speed obviously helps him, but you see him in that stretch pass up to the far blue line, and it's worked out pretty good. So yeah, definitely really good. Let's take coming up. Actually, we'll take a quick break. And when we return, Keith Gretzky joins us on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
It's Truck Month at Wolf GMC Buick, and we know trucks. And we have the best deals of the year right now. Some have 0% for 4 years. We have 0% for 6 years. That's on our #1 selling GMC Sierra half-ton crew cab, or the Elevation, the AT4, or Denali. Yep, 0% for 72 months. And Costco members get an extra discount on some of our SUVs. Pop in today and drive away smiling. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
One app, triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lotteries, Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
CanTorque has turned 25. That's right, 25 years of building tools so good, they practically torque themselves. Hard work and innovation equals problem solved. See our latest designs at CanTorque.com.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Big guests, bigger takes. Jason Gregor brings the names you know and the stories you don't. Weekdays, 2 to 6 on Sports 1440. Don't miss a minute of the action on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Great news for your weekend project. CFI, that's Custom Floors Inc., is now open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 till 2. Get top quality Canadian products from Beaulieu with the convenience you need. For your free estimate, visit CFI at CustomFloorsInc.ca.
Nothing beats getting a deal at McDonald's. Why? Because you get a deal now.
And a deal later.
Redeem an offer from the latest mailer or in the McDonald's app and dig into instant savings. Plus, you earn points towards
free McDonald's.
Now that's what I call
a double whammy of deals.
Why does that keep happening? Deals sent right to your door. Check your mailbox for the latest McDonald's mailer loaded with delicious value for a limited time at participating restaurants in Western Canada.
From the local rinks to homes and businesses across the province, Alberta's rural natural gas utilities are here to fuel life affordably, reliably, and safely. We're members of the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-op, providing natural gas to keep our rural neighborhoods warm and connected every day. It's local, dependable, and it's ours. To learn more about the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops and our members, and how natural gas fuels your community, visit fedgas.com. Alberta's energy. Game on.
Hey, it's Jamie from Green Drop Lawn Care. You've known and trusted us as Canada's lawn expert since 1979. In all that time, the only thing we've loved to watch grow and flourish more than your lawn is our community. You've given us so much over the years, and we love to give back. Our community events crew is on the streets, at the festivals, and helping grow great causes and charities across the city. We love knowing your lawn is taken care of, and we'll help take care of the community too. Visit greendrop.com, and we'll see you out there.
Craving your favorite mouth-watering pizzas? Papa John's has large specialty pizzas for only $19.99 for a limited time. Get a flavorful all the meats, the works, ultimate pepperoni, Hawaiian, barbecue chicken, and more on original thin or New York style crust. Use the code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. The Oilers' push to the playoffs is on, and OTR is ready to be your hockey headquarters. $5.75 Molson Canadian, 69-cent wings, and play, score, and win every game. See more at OnTheRocksYEG.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
2:19, welcome back. It is the Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Of course, a day off today for the Edmonton Oilers. They'll practice tomorrow, then they'll wrap up their regular season on Thursday against the Vancouver Canucks. And they'll know what's at stake when they take on the Canucks on Thursday. The Ducks play tonight in Minnesota. The Vegas Golden Knights play tomorrow, their final game of the regular season, as they host Seattle. And then on Thursday, the Oilers take on the Canucks. The Ducks will take on the Predators, and that game starts an hour before. And then the Kings game starts at the same time. But the Oilers, for the most part, will know if we win, this is where we're at. And if they win the game, they're guaranteed to finish in the top 3 in the Pacific Division because the LA Kings can't catch them. If they win, and who knows, if the LA Kings by chance lose tonight, then they don't really have to worry about it. Then they're automatically in already. So we'll see how it goes. Playoffs beginning in hockey at all. Well, they've started a lot of the lower levels, of course. The American Hockey League getting ready to wrap up their season as we get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Ice Center, a brand new facility just south of Edmonton. Before Nisku, hosts curling events, concerts, hockey, great Summit restaurant right inside. So if you're looking for a fantastic place to watch the games, concerts, or just go for dinner, that is the Silent Ice Center, as we are joined by the Oilers assistant general manager and the GM of the Bakersfield Condors, Keith Gretzky, joins us once again. Keith, welcome back to the show, my man. How you doing?
Great. Thanks for having me.
It's always good to talk to you. You're getting down to the stretch run for your team, Keith, and it's been quite a battle. Obviously, there's been some injuries. Obviously, you lost a few guys due to recalls, which is kind of a good news, bad news. You're obviously happy for the players. Sometimes it's a little bit tougher for your team. How do you think your group has handled the last month with losing bodies, some key guys to your team, as well as battling the injury bug?
Well, you know what? That's what it's about. It's adversity and travel, injuries and call-ups, and it's the next man up type of attitude. And I think we've weathered the storm pretty good for all the injuries, the key injuries, and of course the key call-ups. And when you lose Szymanski, who's the number one centerman on our team, and Jones was playing great. He's in the top 6 and penalty killing, and just the experience himself. And that happens. And now Howard. So it's a shot in the arm, but it's good. That's what we're here for. That's why I always say to everybody that, everybody kind of gets mad that, you've lost a game because, maybe you're shorthanded or whatever. But our job is to get everybody ready for the NHL. And I think the coaches have done a really good job for that. And it is what it is. And we have the mentality of, you get a chance, you make the best of it.
And you're in a battle with Coachella and San Jose for playoff seeding, because the higher you are, then you can choose to have the the home game number one, or you take the last two at home. Have you made that decision as an organization that hey, if we get the opportunity that you would go? Is it too much of an obvious one, Keith, to always start on the road so you get games 2 and 3 at home?
You know what? Yeah, it's one of those things we've sat and plus it's availability for the arenas for both sides.
Okay.
Like Wednesday night we can't play at home. There's something going on, so we either play Tuesday or Thursday at home or start on the road. So it's one of those things. Each team has their own setup that we've sent in, and like you said, we can finish from 4th, 5th, 6th to 7th. We need to win some games and have our best foot forward. And like you said, we're in a dog race, and the good thing is we play San Jose the last 2 games of the year, and tonight we're in Henderson. So I think it's one of those that we get a couple of wins, we'll be okay, and hopefully get some home ice advantage.
How have you matched up against Henderson this year?
We've been pretty good. It's the one thing, even before this year, we've played well against that team, but they're on a roll. I think they're probably the hottest team in the league, and since February they've been really playing well, and we haven't played them since then, and I think they're like 23-1 or something like that. So we just got it. They were in 8th place, and now they're sitting in, I think, 3rd, and we just got to go out and I think not give them a lot of chances. They're a high scoring team. They can score goals, and we're a team that likes to score goals too, and we need some really good goaltending and solid defensive play.
Speaking of goaltending, Tompkins and Pickard have switched. Tompkins has played a little bit more. Do you see, when you talk to the coach, is it all chalk 100% decision when it comes to playoff goaltending? How much of a say, if any, do you have in that?
It's and plus Kelly Guard. We sit as a group and put everything, what we think and who we think give us a best chance to play, and whatever we decide after this weekend, and we'll be ready. And I think you have 2 goaltenders, and you have them for a reason. So if one gets hot, you ride it, and if one doesn't play well, you got the other one. So I think it's important that you have both goalies ready.
With the guys getting called up, who do you feel has stepped up and grabbed the opportunity the most?
I think Jaravente played well the other night. On Friday night he was excellent. He's just got to be consistent. I think that's his biggest thing, where he looks like he's ready for the NHL some games, and some games he looks like he's needs some more time. And I think that's just maturity, and the guy's missed almost 2 years hockey. So I think it's, he's been very, very good for us. I think on the back end, Stillman was hurt, and he came back the other night on Wednesday and was great. Played well Saturday, didn't play Friday, and Brown's been very good. So I think on the back end we're solid, and we're asking for a lot. We've got Marielle is the number 1 centerman, and then we really don't have other than Hamblin, who's been phenomenal. And I think that's the guy who's really been probably, for me, the most underrated player that doesn't get a lot of, publicity and ink and what he deserves, because he's been, a jack of all trades. He does it all, penalty kill, and he started playing on the power play, and he's got 27 goals. So I think, for all the guys that have been called up front, I think that the one guy has been James Hamblin, has been excellent for us.
Well, and it's interesting you mentioned his name, because I look at James Hamblin and I feel like in a lot of other organizations in the NHL, he could be a regular in the NHL in your bottom 6.
Yeah, because he's so, the one thing about James is he's always on the right side of the puck, and he doesn't cheat the game, and he doesn't cheat, his job is what I call it. He's a coach's dream, and I think we're really lucky to have a guy like him in the organization. And he helps out with the young guys. He's a true pro, and when he comes to work, he puts his hard helmet on. And like you said, it's a guy that we signed as an undrafted guy and signed him to an American League deal, then an NHL deal. So great on him. He deserves it, and he's really our leader up front of the work ethic and how to play the game. And it's a great player to watch down here.
Keith Gretzky joins us, GM of the Condors, assistant GM of the Edmonton Oilers. And you mentioned Marhala. 56 points, Keith, for a rookie player, 22 years of age. And I know you've obviously been down there for a long time. Were you expecting this type of offensive production from him in his rookie season?
No, you know why? Because it's so hard down here, and our side is a little harder, I think. I'm biased, and I just think it's older, bigger, stronger, and a kid coming in, we knew he was on the weaker side and had to work on different areas of his game. And when the Europeans come over, they're not used to 72 games a year, and I was a little concerned in a way that he would kind of fall off, and he really hasn't. He's dug in, and to get his points that he has for a rookie has been amazing. And the one thing is, to me, if he'd have more if he'd learn to shoot the puck and not be so selfish. And and I've been on him for that. The coaches have been on him for that. He's got a very good shot. It's sneaky good, and I think he just has to learn to believe in it and trust it. And as a rookie, it's one of those things that comes, and he's been a pleasant surprise.
You mentioned now he wouldn't be the first guy that people at all levels have talked about. Hey, you know what? You got to shoot the puck more, and it takes some guys a while, and some never really. That's who they are as a player. When you look at his overall game and development, and I remember when I saw him in training camp, I was like, man, once this guy fills out a little bit, holy cow, he could be even better. But you obviously watch every game, and I'm realistically maybe watched 10 this year. I'm impressed just by his offensive instincts and how he sees the ice. And I feel like as he just naturally gets stronger, when you have those instincts, like that sticks with you, regardless of how big or fast you get. Do you see him as somebody who has a legitimate shot to be an NHLer down the road?
Yeah, I think it takes time. I think he's, the runway is going to be a little longer for him. I think just with strength, core strength, and he's gained some weight during the year. He's really worked hard in the gym. So I think the quickness, the strength have to come along. But like you said, the patience and the hockey sense are very good. And I think that's what separates him, and that's what gets him the points that he has. And, the funny thing is when, a little bit ago you asked about guys stepping up, and with Szymanski gone and injuries, he's been killing penalties.
Yeah.
And if you would have asked me in October, would you see Mariella killing penalties? I would have said no, but now he is. He's one of the go-to guys, and he's done an excellent job because he's smart. And when you have very good hockey sense, it's easy to put you on the ice because you read the plays and anticipation, and he's done an excellent job.
You mentioned young guys getting some penalty kill time. Isaac Howard talked about the fact that for him, he was down there, spent a significant amount of time and really worked on his play away from the puck. His play with the puck kind of comes natural. He's very good at it. He even got some penalty kill time, Keith, and we saw that for Matt Savoy, and that's really a big opportunity why Matt Savoy, started in the bottom six, was a penalty killer, kept himself in the rotation in the game, and then got to be, in more of a scoring role. And I know that Ike Howard's maybe a little bit different. I'm not sure he has that side of his game, but how important is it, do you think, for a guy like Ike Howard to learn to penalty kill? And what did you think about him now that he got on there, albeit a small sample size?
Yeah, it was a small sample size. In the last few games, we've been using them to PK. And, I look, they're two different players in the sense that Matt Savoy was doing that right when he came here. And Ike is more of an offensive shooter, and that's his bread and butter. But I do give the kid credit. He's worked really hard at managing the puck and not just throwing it away and hoping that it gets on one of our guys' stick. And you can't do that in the NHL. You turn the puck over, it's down the ice, and if they score, you're on the bench. It's just reality. And I think he's done a really good job of getting better. Can he still do better? Yeah, of course, everybody does in any area of their games, but he's worked at it real hard. I know the coaches have sat him down and explained, and they did use Matt Savoy at the beginning of the year of how he was when he first came and, what his tendencies were and things like that. So they're good comparable. We've used them, and the only difference is Matt, really did a great job right from the get-go. And I thought, Matty was one of the best penalty killers in the league and had a great stick. And, it gave him an opportunity, something different in his bag to, when he played on the Oilers, if he wasn't on the top six and it was on the bottom 6, he could get out there and penalty kill, and he's done a really good job, and he's found a niche. And, I think the scoring will always be there. When you're a goal scorer or point getter, it's the other part of your game. And I think that's the biggest thing when players come to play in the American League. It's hard for them because they're used to just having those hope plays and, tendency they go down and score that, you go back right out and you play. But you've got to be held accountable and improve in that area to play in the NHL, because you can't do that game in, game out. And if you do, you'll be back down into the American Hockey League.
Keith, I know Bo Akey hasn't played since early this month. What's the diagnosis on him?
He's got an upper body injury. He's close. Probably, we thought that maybe today, and it's not looking like that for sure. I think we'll see him warm up and then hopefully day by day and, get him ready.
Okay. So slight chance tonight, but hopeful for the weekend.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping.
Okay. And what about Damian Carfanga? Another young guy in the organization that's come in. How's his first season look?
He's played really well. Not the biggest guy, but he likes to lug the puck. He's a good skater with the puck, and he's been really good. Probably better than another guy. He's probably better than what I expected. And you just look at him and his stats and that his plus minus is very, very good. And he's logged a lot of minutes, especially with the injuries. You talk about guys that, stepping up on the back end when we have Brown and Stillman out, Lepinen out. I think he's been a guy that has really, stepped up and played, between 20 to 25 minutes and, penalty kill, the second unit of the power play. So I think he's done a really good job. And for a first-year player, he's held his own and then some, I would feel.
Cam Dineen comes back. Obviously, that's a huge boost to you. You mentioned, other guys, Brown and such on the back end who played well. I want to get your thoughts on a guy who was up with you. I think it was part of the team for about 12 games. Now he's back in the ECHL again. And, he's had, somewhat of a roller coaster season. He's played in 4 different organizations and has good numbers everywhere that he's played. And I know you follow. What's your thoughts on Connor Unger's season overall?
I think he's been excellent. I think right from the get-go of from different organizations, different leagues, stepping in and just concentrating on playing hockey. I think that's a tribute to him that, hey, it doesn't matter where I'm at. I'm going to, play my game and worry about me and not about, where I'm at or what team I'm on. And he's done very, very well. And I think as an organization, I think you can't have enough goalies. And, we've got a bunch now and Ungi's been really, really good. And I think it's just a matter of time for him. And I think he would have stayed if, in Bakersfield at that time before we got picks and things happen. And, I know people say, oh, we could have carried 3, but you need to carry 3, but you needed guys to play. We needed Tompkins to play. We needed Pickard to play. And most importantly, we needed Unger to play. So we sent him back down and he's done very well. So we're really happy with him.
Keith, good luck here in the final few games. You got 3 games left tonight again. Henderson back-to-back against San Jose on the weekend, and hope you get the high seed and a home game and a lengthy playoff run. And maybe you get a few of the guys who are in Edmonton as they got some extra bodies. Maybe come back down to help you in the playoffs.
You got it, Jace. Thanks for having me.
You betcha. That is Keith Gretzky, the GM of the Condors, assistant GM of the Edmonton Oilers. And you know what? Like, you look at Marhal, there's a lot of guys at the Oilers have been developing. And you know what? You look at it. Hey, look at Szymanski. Did anybody out there, any of you think, I didn't. Did any of us think Szymanski was going to not necessarily not play, but play as well as he has when he's had the opportunity in Edmonton this year? Right? There's not a lot of us that thought Josh Szymanski was going to play. Tomorrow would be what, his 24th NHL game? Right? Like, he hasn't had a ton of offense, but he's not hurting you defensively at all. And I just think, like, you look at his size and the possibilities of what he could be in the future. Right? He looks like he's somebody that can replace Adam Henrique and kind of make it a seamless transition which is nice when you got guys who get a little bit older. Okay, now I got to get some cheaper bodies in here, some younger bodies, do things different. Doesn't mean he does everything as good as Henrique. So does some things better, some things worse. But he reads the plays, very good defensively. And you see that move, that little delayed move he put on last night? I liked it. Starting to get a little bit of confidence in the offensive zone, which is key. You want to score at some point, you got to hold on a little bit longer, take maybe an extra step with the puck and try something. You got to try some moves at some point if you want to score. It's just how it goes. It's no different than in defensive end. If you want to be able to move the puck, sometimes, maybe hold on to it a little bit longer. Sometimes you have to try a little bit of a dangerous pass that's going to connect. Obviously, you got to make sure you can do it, but the best defensemen are the ones who can make those plays more often than not. Quick break. We will come back. We got lots the play-in round tonight in the association. We'll get to that tonight and tomorrow. Also, we got lots on the Oilers, who last night, I know that single point guarantees them with a win. That was good about it. That guarantees them that LA can't catch them if they win. And if LA loses tonight, which, I might think is, low chance considering Vancouver is Vancouver. Like, we all expect Edmonton to beat Vancouver. I would think the Kings, who have won 5 in a row, would beat Vancouver, and they'd pull into a tie with Edmonton. And depending on what happens in Anaheim, the Ducks could move ahead of the Oilers or stay. The Ducks could find themselves in 8th place tonight. And then don't look now, but the Utah Mammoth, they don't want to finish 8th. They probably want to finish 7th. They'd probably rather take on Vegas or whoever wins the Pacific over the Colorado Avalanche. But the Mammoth, they got to win some games too here. Like, they could still finish with the second wildcard spot. They're hosting the Winnipeg Jets tonight, and then the Mammoth wrap up their season against St. Louis on Thursday. So still lots of positions to be solidified in the Western Conference, even in the East as well. So we'll return. It's the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
At GS Construction, we're multitaskers. We've got lots of projects going on all around Edmonton and area. Different teams across the city working towards the same outcome. Installing today what will serve generations to come. It's a rewarding career and the work never stops. That's why GS Construction is always on the lookout for great people to join us. Right now, we're looking for experienced topmen, pipe layers, operators, and surveyors. So if you want to feel valued, empowered, and engaged in your work, visit gsconstruction.ca today.
With the lead up to the playoffs underway, players are definitely stepping up their game.
And the fans are doing the same. Simple snacks like chips and dip may work at the front half of the season, but now more and more fans are rocking the Wilhauk beef jerky for game time get-togethers.
Just make sure you bring enough for everyone if you want to be invited back for the playoffs.
Make your next hockey game day a Will Hockey game day with Wilhauk beef jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today, because you don't win games with salad.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Would you like to be a part of history for the month of April? I'm kidding. Or as the kids say, bro, I'm joking. Would you like to help us set a record in April? Chill. Still kidding. At Northgate, we aren't trying to set any records or tell you how many vehicles we sell. And we really don't think you'd care. But what you will care about is this. Every dealer has the same costs. Trust me. GM does not have a favorite kid. You get to decide where you buy. 0% financing, a great selection, and of course, great people. Stop in and see us today. 13215 97th Street or business online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, healing doesn't have to feel heavy, because in our SwimX aquatic therapy pools, you literally float your way to recovery. Whether you're dealing with arthritis, back pain, joint injuries, post-surgical rehab, chronic pain, balance issues, mobility challenges, or just feeling a little creaky, warm water and gentle resistance have your back, your knees, and your hips. Trusted by pro sports teams and rehab hospitals, our SwimX pools help you move sooner, hurt less, and recover faster. So take the load off. Let the water do the work. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Do you listen to sports radio at work? Like right now? Well, do you? Who, me? No way. I swear. Okay, friend, we won't tell. Tens of thousands of sports fans listen to Sports 1440 each and every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. If you listen to Sports 1440 at work, well, maybe it's time to advertise on Sports 1440 at work. Grow your business. Get your name out there. Shoot our ad team an email. Gregor@sports1440.ca. Let's get to work for you.
This May, look for your census letter in the mail. The information you provide helps plan services in your community that support employment, transit, education, healthcare, and more. It's easy to fill out and completely confidential. Find out more at census.gc.ca. Your census, your community, our future. A message from the Government of Canada.
Is your business ready to grow? Not sure how? We have your solution. We are Stingray. Whether your customers are around the corner or across the country, Stingray connects you with radio to digital advertising, including connected TV, search and social, programmatic, digital advertising, and digital out of home. From idea to execution, we've got you covered. With creative and production, cross-platform integration, detailed reporting, and one-on-one support, it's the easy way to make your business grow. Get started now at stingraymediasolutions.com.
Edmonton's only 24-hour-a-day sports radio station can be heard anytime, anywhere. Sports 1440 is streaming on your phone, your tablet, your computer. Download an app today and listen to Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by CanTorque, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at CanTorque.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.243, welcome back. Jason Gregor. Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you are having a wonderful Tuesday. Playoffs, well, kind of, begin tonight in the NBA as we get to our NBA report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. Or bundle it up with your furnace, saving more at legacyheating.ca. As we welcome in the host of Hoop City, Saturday mornings, 10 o'clock right here on Sports 1440, former pro player and coach Paul Sir joins us. Paul, how you doing, my man?
Doing great, Jason. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm pretty good. We got the play-ins tonight. The Heat and the Hornets. The winner moves on to one more game. The loser goes home, and then you got the Trailblazers and the Suns. The winner of that game gets the number 7 seed and takes on the Spurs. Ouch! And then the loser will obviously have to face the Warriors and the Clipper winner. So let's start with the Heat and the Hornets. Which team do you like better, and why?
I think you'd have to favor the Hornets because of the fantastic second half of the season that they've had. They've beaten a lot of good teams, and they've beaten a lot of good teams on the road, which I think is probably something that no one would have expected out of this Charlotte franchise through the year. On the flip side, you've got Eric Spoelstra leading a team that has some members that have some members and some players that know what playoff success is all about. So you've got an interesting matchup, I think, here, because the Heat, I think, had a disappointing season. That's fair to say. Where on the part of Charlotte, they had a surprisingly great season, but have literally almost zero playoff experience going into this. I'm picking Charlotte because I just think they're better, but we'll see if the nerves are any different for the first playoff game compared to the regular season role that they were on.
Yeah, well, I know in the NHL, the games are significantly different. Like, it's more physical than it is in the regular season. What do you see as the biggest difference in NBA playoffs to regular season?
I think it's the same. The referees tend to swallow their whistles a bit more. Players definitely amp up their effort and their physical play. So you have to be a different player. Now, what's different, what's unique about this, though, is it's a one-off. This isn't a 7-game series where you get to figure each other out and there's more punching and counter-punching. In this, it's one and done. So you've got to come out with maximum energy, hope like heck your shots go in, bottom line, and that you're ready for the moment. You don't want to have a terrible first half and then be scrambling in the second half trying to claw your way back into a winner-go-home situation. So it would be ironic on one hand to see Charlotte make the kind of improvement that they made over the course of this year and then be done, but that very well could happen tonight against a more experienced physical playing team like Miami.
Okay. You look at any of these teams of the 4 that are 7, 8, 9, 10 in each side. So I guess 8 total teams. Like, do you see any of them with a realistic shot? Obviously, you're going to have to take on the 2 best teams in each conference. Do any of these teams have a chance to do any damage past the play-in round?
No, I don't think so. The only team that I think has a shot at being dangerous would be the Clippers, because they have an NBA champion, multi-time NBA champion in Kawhi Leonard on their team. They really seemed to gel together better towards the end of the season, so they were playing at a bit of a higher level. But having said that, I don't even see the Clippers as a team that should get through to the second round. But if I had to pick any of them, they would be that would be the team I would pick, and I think they might have a shot at being a real tough out in the first round.
Okay. When you look at the injuries are a lot of times the difference between who win championships and teams who don't win championships. And obviously the health of the LA Lakers right now, even if they're healthy, I'm not sure they'd be able to go 3 rounds deep in the deep Western Conference. But with the injuries they have, Paul, like, what do you make of that series with them and the Rockets? Do you see the Rockets now with a clear advantage just due to the injuries?
Yes. Yeah, I think that sums it up perfectly. With Luka, with Austin, I would favor the Lakers in the first round. I don't think Houston's that good, but they have Kevin Durant. Sengun has had a nice season. Thompson is a very good defender. They without Steven Adams, they can't go real physical like they were having great success early on in the season with him in there, just creating havoc on the offensive glass. But the Lakers are just too weakened at too many positions, I think, to really be able to look at a 7-game series and take it from a team with the kind of talent that Houston has. I give LeBron James, I'm not a huge LeBron James guy. Admire his body of work over his, illustrious career, but I've never been one of his biggest fans. But boy, I'm really impressed with how he has played this year, how he has settled into a nice role, especially when the Lakers were rolling recently before Luka and Reeves went out. But, LeBron, here he is, 41, stepping up and filling in as the primary scorer again. And he's getting it done. Yeah. We'll see if he can get it done over a 7-game series.
Yeah, it's always a little bit tougher there. The Orlando Magic are a team that played they fell out of the playoffs, Paul. Like, the fact that they're the number 8 seed here is a little bit of a collapse for them down the stretch. And the 76ers, obviously, the injuries always seem to follow that team, well, mainly Joel Embiid. But, like, I look at the Magic, and they got to be disappointed that they ended up as the 8th seed.
Oh, my gosh. The only thing that will salvage any dignity out of this season will be if they are able to get into the first round, and B, if they get there, if they win the first round. Anything short of that will result, I believe, in their coach being fired and the Magic having to really take a long look at the personnel that they've accumulated, because it's been Oklahoma City-like in terms of trying to accumulate and trying to develop and trying to build with young talent, but it hasn't paid off. And this year has been a major disappointment, I think, for them. They have never been able to string together what I would consider to be a strong momentum surge throughout the course of the season. They'd play 2 or 3 good games, and then all of a sudden they'd go south again for several games. So, yeah, for whatever reason, if it's the blend of personnel, if it's the coach not having the locker room, whatever it is, it's been a disappointing season. And as I mentioned, the only way out from this is that they go into the playoffs and they find their rhythm there. And that seems right now like a real long shot.
Paul Sir joins us, a host of Hoop City. The Raptors, we know when their playoff matchup begins. It'll be Saturday morning at 11 a.m., right during your show, so you can do some commentary as it's on. But how do you break down the matchup of the Raptors and Cleveland?
I like the Raptors' chances against Cleveland. I think they match up pretty well with the Cavaliers. And yes, the Cavaliers have star power in the backcourt with Harden and with Donovan Mitchell, but in the front court, you know what? I really don't like their bigs that much. Even though Evan Mobley is the defending defensive player of the year, and certainly we know it's going to be Wemby this year, and Mobley has had injury problems through the course of the year. The one thing that the Cavaliers are not is physical, and I think the Raptors, with their length, with the play in the middle of Pirtle, with the way that Scotty Barnes has, I think, settled into a very, very nice utility knife, upper level utility knife style of play, and Ingram, NBA Player of the Week in the last week of the season, they're coming together really well. And I'm hoping that Emmanuel quickly has found his rhythm at the point guard spot, because I think this is really critical, is that for the Raptors to be successful, Quickly has to be the fifth option. He can't be the second, third, or fourth option. You have to be running the offense through Ingram, Barnes, RJ Barrett. You can't be running and then letting Pirtle do what he does, slip into the basket. All of those things really work in their favor against the Cavaliers. I think the Raptors have, like I said, a legitimate shot at beating Cleveland, because Cleveland came on through the course of the year. They have a lot of talent, but I do not look at this series as unwinnable for the Raptors at all.
Well, yeah, they matched up well against them in the regular season. And I know, Paul, at the start of the year, you talked about it, and you were one who told me, you know what, if Ingram can stay healthy, he can be a player. And he's played pretty healthy. What has he played? 77 games. I think is a career high for him this season. So what has he done maybe that's impressed you most about his season with the Raptors?
I think staying healthy is most impressive in a league where look at the unbelievable number of star power games that have been missed throughout the course of the season. Ben Golliver, who comes on my show quite frequently and is a great NBA writer, just wrote about the economic cost of stars missing games through the course of the regular season, and it's astronomical. So to have Ingram, who has been so injury prone and unable to stay healthy, have the kind of season he has just being on the court, and then when he's on the court, he's had some bad stretches, but overall, he's been a very good player. And I think one of the things that Brandon Ingram is exceptional when you're under 10 seconds in the shot clock at getting the ball and making a play, either creating a shot for himself, and he does that primarily because he's not a big passer, but he does it very well, and he's got real variety in his game. He's got a great mid-range game. He has that floater. He can go back to the basket, and he can step out and shoot the three a bit, which unfortunately is the Raptors' biggest, most glaring weakness, is their inability as a team to consistently hit three-pointers. I think they're 26th in the league. But Ingram's been outstanding, and what's impressed me the most is he's been healthy, and since he's been healthy, he's been really effective for them. And he's one of the principal reasons they won 46 games instead of, I think, 30 like they won, or 30 or 32 like they won last year.
Who do you like right now today to win the championship?
I'd have to say today I like Oklahoma City because they're a complete team on both sides of the basketball. They have a killer in SGA. They've got tremendous, deep, complementary pieces all around him. They can play big. They can play small. Their wing ability to guard on the wings is the best in the league by quite a distance. They're very versatile, and they've been there. So I think they're the team that you have to look at and say they have to be the favorites But I also think San Antonio, it's going to be interesting to see that young team again, no playoff experience in the playoffs, and you've got that big, wide-shoulder aircraft carrier in Jokic with a team going into the playoffs that has won 12 in a row. They're almost healthy. Watson may not be back for the first or second game with the Timberwolves, but he should be back during the series. So you've got a team there that anytime Jokic steps on the floor, you can lose. So OKC first, and then nipping at their heels, I think you have to look at the Spurs and the Nuggets.
It's going to be fun. Yeah, the West definitely seems to be where the power is, but who knows? Maybe they pound each other and somebody comes out of the East. Should be a lot of fun, Paul. And what's coming up on the show on Saturday?
We're going to talk about the WNBA, all the WNBA activity after their problems in the offseason of trying to put a collective bargaining deal together. It finally got done, and the WNBA is such an unusual league because now, a week after you have the NCAA finals, you've got the draft, you've got all these free agents. I think 3/4 of the league are free agents. So you've got all this realignment happening, and they're going to be playing in 3 weeks. So it's been wild and woolly. So we're going to break that down with Pat Boylan from the Indiana Fever. We're trying to get Sarah Soe, who's from Edmonton, who writes for The Ringer, on the WNBA on. So we're going to talk a lot about that. And then got a couple of guests that I'm trying to finalize with so we can dig into what's going to happen this weekend with the NBA with playoffs getting going.
Paul, great stuff, buddy. Well, we'll be tuning in and enjoy the play-in round, and then, of course, the actual playoffs beginning on Saturday.
Always a pleasure, Jason. Thanks so much.
There you go. That is Paul Sir from Hoop City. Every Saturday, 10 a.m. here on Sports 1440. Coming up, Terry Ryan will join us. Dave McCarthy. We got Struddy, Spec, loaded show. Lots more in the NHL. Some of you, like the possibilities of where the Oilers can finish. They could still finish first. They can finish second. They can finish third. And still, they could finish fourth in the Pacific and could finish in the second wild card spot as well. So even in the first wild card spot. So lots of options here. We still could have Pacific, Central, which I'm telling you, big fan of. The most dumb thing the NHL does is if you have a wild card team, one from each division, but they don't play in their division. I get why Boston and Ottawa, somebody has to cross over. That's what it's meant for. But when it's 4-4, you should just stay in your own division. Just saying. Quick break. We'll return to Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Go Auto. If you're looking for a vehicle, they got your options. Over 15,000 vehicles to choose from. 71 different locations. Go see it in person or stop online at goauto.ca.
The Sports 1440 update.
Busy night tonight in the NHL. The season winding down. Bruins taking on the Devils. The Canes in New York up against the Islanders. Flyers host the Canadians. Caps and Jackets. Wild host the Ducks. Jets taking on the Mammoth. Flames host the Avs. Penguins in St. Louis. And the Kings getting the Vancouver Canucks. In the association play-in games. The 9 and 10 game has the Hornets hosting the Heat at 5:30. Then at 8 o'clock, the Trailblazers taking on the Suns. In the majors, Jays kicking off the series in Milwaukee against the Brewers. First pitch, 5:40. We'll join that game immediately following the Jason Gregor Show at 6 o'clock. Elsewhere, Diamondbacks at the Baltimore. The Reds host the Giants. Angels travel to New York to take on the Yankees, White Sox, and Rays. Rockies, Astros, Mariners head to San Diego. The Dodgers will host the Mets in the AJ. Game 7 between the Storm and Wolverines in Whiteport. Puck drop at 7. EWHL has Vancouver hosting Seattle just after 8. And on the pitch, the Canadian women defeating South Korea 3-1 despite being down a player as Jade Rose received a red card in the 27th minute. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Terry Ryan and Dave McCarthy from SiriusXM NHL. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth, fast, easy, and totally free At Go Auto, we're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
For the first time in 66 years, Golden Bears and Pandas hockey are on the move. During the 2026-27 Canada West season, two of the most successful hockey programs in U Sports history will call Silent Ice Center in Nisku their temporary home. The Golden Bears and Pandas are excited to connect with the South Edmonton community and welcome new fans to experience the tradition and excitement of U of A hockey. Same tradition, new temporary home. Golden Bears and Pandas hockey at Silent Ice Center for the 26-27 season.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Nothing beats getting a deal at McDonald's. Why? Because you get a deal now.
And a deal later.
Redeem an offer from the latest mailer or in the McDonald's app and dig into instant savings. Plus, you earn points towards
Free McDonald's.
Now that's what I call
a double whammy of deals.
Why does that keep happening? Deals sent right to your door. Check your mailbox for the latest McDonald's mailer loaded with delicious value. For a limited time at participating restaurants in Western Canada.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. For a limited time, get your favorite large specialty pizza from Papa John's for only $19.99. Use code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We are after 3 o'clock. How you doing? Jason Gregor, Connor Howling, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the show on YouTube, Facebook, X. It's always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. They got a new player offer there where you can get Lotto Max tickets, combine it, casino credits. You buy a Lotto Max ticket, you get some credits. So Lotto Max, $25 million. You can get your tickets tonight at PlayAlberta.ca. As the NHL rounds down, they got 3 days left in the regular season. We know the 16 teams that are in. Last night, LA, Anaheim, and Philadelphia punched their ticket. They're in. We have 3 matchups for sure. Tampa Bay and Montreal. Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. Dallas, Minnesota. We know that Dallas is at home. We know Pittsburgh's at home. We don't know yet who's going to be at home between Montreal and Tampa Bay. The other 5 series will be determined over the next few days. Might come down right until Thursday. Depends what happens tonight. Games that have some playoff implications. The Boston Bruins, if they win tonight, they will take on the Buffalo Sabres. If the Bruins lose, then the Ottawa Senators have a chance to win and take on the Buffalo Sabres. Otherwise, so if the Bruins win tonight, then we know that it's going to be Ottawa, Carolina, and it would be Boston taking on Buffalo. In the West, Ducks play tonight against the Wild, and the Mammoth host the Winnipeg Jets. And if the Mammoth are victorious tonight, well, no, that still doesn't, because the LA Kings could still pass them. So doesn't guarantee you much, other than if they lose tonight in regulation, then, it seems like there's a decent chance. And if the Kings win, then they could jump ahead of them. So, but nothing would be clear today in the West. I guess, no, that's not true. If Utah wins and the Kings lose tonight, then Utah is guaranteed to take on the winner of the Pacific. And we wouldn't know yet, though, who's playing Colorado. So there you go. Now, let's welcome to the show former NHLer, first-round draft pick, stars as Hitch in Shoresy. Terry Ryan joins us. TR, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Just hanging out in Newfoundland. I was in Toronto, as you know, and just got back 2 days ago, but I'm leaving again tomorrow. We're doing Hockey Helps the Homeless in Toronto, Scotiabank Ponds. If you're listening to this and you're in the area, come on by and donate some money.
Okay, I like it. Looking at the Montreal Canadiens, of course, the team that drafted you. I know you follow them closely. They're playing Tampa Bay Lightning. What are your thoughts?
Everything we talked about, I think last week you asked me about what might be, some ruffles in the armor of the Canadians, and I think that's it. The grittiness that it takes to win, that tenaciousness, that proven ability to overcome adversity in its most physical forms. Tampa Bay have already done that, and Montreal have never done it. So at least not this iteration, in this millennium. Okay. So that's now of the teams Montreal's ever brought forth. I think these guys are spunky. I don't necessarily think they're afraid. In fact, a lot of them quite the opposite, but just the physical stature isn't what Tampa's is. I don't know if they can last that long. And it's one thing to not be afraid, but Tampa will bring it. They'll bring it. They'll cross-check you in the face if they have to. They're very similar to to Florida Panthers. Both Florida teams, to me, play with that edge it takes to win. Obviously, they're champions. If you look at every team that's won it in recent history, I'd say all history, but just recent history, just think about them. And they all have a level of big, bad toughness to some degree, defense, durability. Those are my issues, and they all come to the forefront under a magnifying glass with the Tampa Bay Lightning. Can Montreal win? Of course they can. I think straight up, it's anybody's game, but Tampa Bay have that, and it's proven, and they've done it before. So Montreal have their work cut out for them.
Yeah, it's been a great season for the Habs, Terry. There's no question about it. And you look at, matchups are a key thing. Now, there's no Hedman, so that helps them, but they still got Radish and Moser and McDonough and Cernak. They got pretty good defense score. To me, Vasilevsky, that's the matchup. Dobish has been great, but we had Kevin Woodley on the show, and he said the one thing that concerned about Montreal is they still actually gave up a lot, and they required their goalie to be great. And in a playoff series, that's not necessarily the recipe for success.
No, the Habs, it's not like they haven't caught lightning in a bottle before with young goalies. And this probably wouldn't be that, but it's just the unproven nature of it. Like you said, it's just the unproven nature of the playoffs are different. You're not only playing every second night, you're playing a big, big, big game, bigger than anything you've ever played every second night. The media, or if you think it might be sometimes not rewarding, in Montreal in the winter. Well, look at the spring, the expectation. Doesn't matter who they are. There's just more attention. Doesn't matter if they're an underdog like last year. There's still just more tension, more hype. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That often can be a good thing. But, if it's just not, if you're not used to it, then it's just another question mark, right? A game, the first round of the playoffs, for guys that have been there, especially a guy like Vasilevsky, who's dealt with that amount of pressure constantly. It's one thing to be a fourth line right winger. It's another thing to be a goalie and bring your team to the ultimate success within the sport. It really is. And then not only that, do it multiple times. So this is a walk in the park. This is just, Vasilevsky's just going to play. It won't even, it'll be the most minuscule drop of water in the back of his mind, the whole overall nervousness of it, the pressure of the situation. But for a guy like Dovis, it's I would think exactly the opposite. I think it's just human nature. If it's me, I mean, I can talk myself down all I want. If I'm a goalie or a pitcher going into a major, I don't know why I said pitcher. I just always put the level of pressure, I guess I could go quarterback or whatever, but just in my mind, it's completely different. When the playoffs start, a goalie, it's one thing to have the right mindset, but you don't really know, do you, until it really happens, until you're tested. And now it's not quite like last year. I think they were, I don't remember the scuttlebutt going in, but I know that Montreal it's a bonus just to be in the playoffs, and they were, looking forward to the future. Now we're closer to that. Now we've got bona fide scoring legends, right? We got a 51 goal scorer. We got a 100-point getter. We got a totally different set of expectations. We got rookies that aren't rookies anymore, that have grown a lot in a year or two. So there's a different level of expectation as well. And with that, to finish the thought, guys like Hudson and Caulfield, and let's just, if we just stop there, but I'll go further with Suzuki, and they're not big time. They're not big physically, especially like say Caulfield and Hudson, young guys that are small in stature. Who knows? We don't really know yet. Like Hudson, to me, proved everybody wrong over and over and over. Because he looks slight. Caulfield's short, but Hudson came in looking slight, and he still looks kind of slight. But, can that last the Stanley Cup playoffs? I don't know. He's proved everybody wrong to this point. I got no reason to say no. I just haven't seen it yet, and it makes me a little bit skittish.
Yeah, no, it's totally valid. The Buffalo Sabres are either going to get Boston or Ottawa. And I'll say this, TR, right now, the way the Senators are playing, the way the Sens have really played all year long, except their goaltending, Carolina or Buffalo, I'd rather play Boston all day long. Yeah,
That's the thing. The underlying numbers, if you look at the Ottawa Senators, I have never been this big analytic guy, but there is a huge place for it. All information is analytics, really, right? I'm not anti. I just don't usually look too far. I don't do many deep dives, but it's pretty obvious across the board with the Ottawa Senators that like every big time metric, every statistic that stands out says that they probably would have finished not only a little bit higher, a lot higher if their goaltending was just average, right? So now you got Buffalo. To me, you know what? The East, it's both of those teams, for example, like, I don't know, pick your poison. It was such a dogfight all year that it's like a toss of a coin. Both of those teams, I can't believe I'm saying this, they kind of scare me. The Ottawa Senators and the Buffalo Sabres have that right mix of younger guy. The Ottawa Senators are a little bit older, but they just have never really succeeded in the playoffs, and they've got every reason to go in feeling confident this year, and almost like it looks like both teams are playing with a bit of a swagger. It wouldn't matter which team I am. I would not want to play either team in the first round of the playoffs. I think they're ready to go. And I think it's a long time coming, and they're biting at the bit. And that's something else, too. Those teams are hungry, and they feel that not only do they have a chance to get in, as has been the case, I think they have a chance to win the Stanley Cup for real. And that's something that yeah, that's something that, if I'm a player, I don't want to say going into the playoffs that you often think, oh, well, we just scraped in. I mean, you all think but honestly, if I'm those guys, there's just nothing to lose. I think they're dangerous.
That's fair. Edmonton Oilers, they got a point last night against Colorado. Low-scoring game. Both goalies played really well. The score wasn't indicative, I thought, of the scoring chances. Both teams created a fair amount. The goaltenders played well. The Oilers, now we know if they beat Vancouver that they're going to stay in the Pacific Division. It's just a matter if they'll be 1, 2, or 3. To me, Anaheim's the easiest matchup. LA's the boring matchup. And Vegas might be what might be probably the toughest matchup for sure in my eyes. But like if you're the Oilers, I'd rather play Anaheim than LA. I think they can beat LA. I just think it's a boring series again. I think the Anaheim Ducks, whoever gets the Ducks, gets the easiest team because right now the Ducks just aren't a defensive team.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think. Anaheim, they do have a lot of inexperience. Even a lot of their veterans haven't really gone a long way. That says a lot in the playoffs for me. It really does. And that goes beyond data, beyond analytics. Just that amount of experience. I wouldn't get caught looking down. Anaheim, I think, have that potential, but I'm thinking of those teams you mentioned. I just think the Oilers and the Vegas Knights are the best positioned going in. And I know Vegas have shown a lot of holes lately, but LA, I would be surprised if they can last a full series with either of those teams scoring, and Anaheim, yeah. I mean, I think they could prove me wrong. They have a good chance to prove me wrong, but yeah, inexperience, and I just don't think they're good enough defensively. If you look at the overlying numbers, Anaheim doesn't look great defensively, and if you're running into those teams, that doesn't serve you well.
Yeah, 100%. Do you follow the NBA at all?
Yeah, I mean, a moderate amount, enough to know the good players and everything Toronto does.
And because the Raptors, hey, first time in the playoffs in 4 seasons. They're not a favorite by any stretch of the imagination, but man, like if the Raptors even win one round, that's a really good year for them, I think.
And are they playing Cleveland?
Yes.
Which is odd because not odd, but it's good because Toronto, I believe, I don't know what it is, but I know that they have a losing record against good teams, like a real bad losing record against the good teams, against the crappy teams. They run the party. They absolutely throttle them. So for me, it couldn't be any better matchup than Cleveland. If it's one of those good teams that they have a good chance against. They've beaten them 3 or 4 times this year, and I think as far as the first round, and you need some level if they can overcome that hurdle. I still think Cleveland's going to win the series, but if they happen to overcome that hurdle, then you got a bit of confidence. We've seen that happen before. I don't know if anybody really expected the Raptors to win this year. It's nice for them to get in without having to go into that play-in. But yeah, I think it shows it's definitely a positive sign in their progress as far as Toronto sports go. Right now, Raptors by default probably are king of the castle.
TR, have yourself a great day. We will chat at you on Thursday, the final day of the regular season, and we will know what's at stake that night for the Oilers, for the few other, there'll be 5 other games in the NHL that night, and we'll know the Oilers, I think, should be able to beat Vancouver, and if they do that, then they've locked themselves into the Pacific, just a matter of whether they're first, second, or third. Should be fun. Talk to you on Thursday. Have a great day.
Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Edmonton. Thank you, Jason. Chat soon.
There you go. That's Terry Ryan. We will return Dave A. McCarthy. Next, it's Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lotteries, Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play.
Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
As we all try to figure out when winter will actually stop and spring will finally be here for the season, GS Construction moves ahead with their plans for the year. From planning and digging to laying out underground infrastructure, construction season is limited, so we make every day count. And that's why GS Construction counts on our team to get the job done right. Crews are getting back in action across the city, and we'd like you to join us. We're looking for experienced top men, pipe layers, operators, and surveyors. For more, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Booster Juice is going crazy for hazelnuts.
No, not crazy. Nuts.
Booster Juice is going bananas for hazelnuts.
I mean, there are bananas in smoothies, but that's not the point.
Banana juice is booster for hazelnuts.
What? Just stop.
Booster Juice is going nuts for hazelnut. Introducing the Nutty Monkey Smoothie, Holy Hazelnut Acai Bowl, and Nutty Booster Ball, all made with rich, creamy hazelnut spread. Try them today, only at Booster Juice. Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Want sports talk on the go?
You can listen to 1440 on the AM dial or stream us on your mobile device through apps like Radio Player, iHeart, and Stingray Music.
Edmonton sports fans,
turn to Sports 1440.
1440.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Looking for a solid 4x4 that checks all the boxes? The 2026 Jeep Compass is in stock now at St. Albert Dodge, and this is a great value, starting from just $36,900. It's a Jeep, so you've got 4x4 capability, plus features like an 8.4-inch touchscreen, Apple CarPlay, active lane management, a park view rear backup camera, and more. Over 30 in stock right now in just about every color you'd want. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Is your business ready to grow? Not sure how? We have your solution. We are Stingray. Whether your customers are around the corner or across the country, Stingray connects you with radio to digital advertising, including connected TV, search and social, programmatic, digital advertising, and digital out of home. From idea to execution, we've got you covered. With creative and production, cross-platform integration, detailed reporting, and one-on-one support, it's the easy way to make your business grow. Get started now at stingraymediasolutions.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. We treat pain and injuries head to toe and some other issues that might surprise you, like incontinence, vertigo, neuropathy, and cognitive issues. We invest in the technology, techniques, skills, and people who know how and what to fix. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
We roll through Tuesday afternoon, play-ins in the NBA. Edmonton orders day off. Oiler fans are, well, based on the text line, okay with the loss last night. Ingram played really well. Edmonton created some chances. Unfortunately, Wedgwood played great. Like, if you're watching that game last night, Blackwood's going to play tonight, but you look at their numbers. I don't see how Wedgwood isn't the starter for game one of the playoffs for Colorado. I'm going to be fascinated to see how that plays out and what they do in that series, and really kind of maybe throughout the playoffs. So should be very interesting to see what will happen in that decision for not the Mammoth, Colorado Mammoth. That's a NLL team, the Colorado Avalanche. Because you know what? Sometimes you overthink it. All I think about is the Boston Bruins and the year they had the greatest regular season ever, when their goalies basically rotated every game for months. And then you got to the playoffs and said, you know what? We're going to do what didn't get us to the playoffs. And now we're going to play one guy. What? And guess what? It cost them. Like, who cares what everybody else has done? Nobody had ever done what Boston had done. Had that good of a regular season. Rotating goalies all the time. So why'd you switch? They outthought it. And I look at Colorado. Wedgwood's playing better, full stop. I don't care who you think your starter is. I don't care who you hoped your starter was. Wedgwood's playing better. Is the goal to win a championship or to be stubborn and do things what you want because we're paying this guy more money than that guy? Who cares? Who cares? Play to win. So I'm going to be fascinated to see what they do in Colorado. Now, let's get to the Around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's, and it is back. The not McChicken. I like to call it, I was going to call it the Chicken Big Mac is what it is. For a limited time. The McChicken patty, but in a Big Mac style. 2 patties, 3 buns, 1 great sauce. Right now. From Sirius XM joins us. Davey, how you doing?
No, I'm good, Jason. I agree with you when it comes to the net minding in Colorado. Scott Wedgwood, not only is he playing better, he's played more games than Mackenzie Blackwood this year. So if you're going by regular season alone, it would suggest that Wedgwood is your starter simply by the fact that he's played more games than Mackenzie Blackwood. I mean, it makes no sense. I don't even know why it's a debate really at this point. What are we worried about here? Because Mackenzie Blackwood has, quote, more pedigree? Guy's 30 years old. Junior hockey pedigree is out the window. Where you were drafted is out the window at this point. Who's the guy stopping a puck more often right now? And right now, that's Scott Wedgwood. So I start him game 1. I really don't see why that's much of a debate, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I am totally with you. We have our 16 teams in now, the playoffs. Washington, the Islanders get eliminated last night. The Nashville Predators, San Jose Sharks, Winnipeg Jets officially get eliminated last night. Of those 5 teams, which one should be the most disappointed in their season?
I think it would be between... I would say the Winnipeg Jets, to be honest with you. I think they're a better team than what we've seen out of them this year. They went on a pretty good run here after the Olympics to kind of get themselves in the mix, but you just can't ask yourself to go on a run of that length to get into the playoffs. The middle of the season killed them, where they were just not nearly good enough. I think you look at that roster, Mark Scheifele's had a great year. Kyle Connor's had another really good year. Josh Morrissey's had a good year. Connor Hellebuck should be a guy that provides net minding at a level that'll get you in a playoffs. He hasn't been as good this year as he was in years past. He was great in the gold medal game. Thanks, Connor, for us up here in Canada. But during the regular season, he hasn't been as good as he has been in the past. But, he is capable of it. the fact that they lost Nikolai Ehlers, I think, hurt them more than they were expecting because it slotted people in that lineup, like maybe Cole Perfetti a little bit too high. And they haven't been able to fill that role. But one guy alone shouldn't tank your season. And they just went on too long of a run where it was an automatic loss every time they played. They're not a team that, to me, should be looking at rebuilding. I don't even want to say retool. I think they've got a really good team. They just need to add a top six forward. Again, easier said than done because there's just not that many out there in free agency. They're gonna have to be creative, find a trade that'll work. But they need to bring in a Nikolai Ehlers replacement, and then beyond that, like this should be a team that's a competitive team. But there was too much underperformance from guys that I did not mention. Guys that I mentioned were fine. Outside of Hellebuck, he could have been better. But the skaters were fine. It's too much underperformance elsewhere, and maybe a little bit too much thinness in their lineup up front without Ehlers. But they should have been a playoff team this year, so I think they should be disappointed.
I would agree. I think that the Jets have played well here down the stretch, but a little too late for them. The Montreal Canadiens, we know they're taking on Tampa Bay. The Penguins are going to take on the surging Philadelphia Flyers. Who do you like in the Battle of Pennsylvania?
It's a good question because really, this is a matchup that is entirely unpredicted. I didn't hear anybody saying the Penguins were making the playoffs. I heard less people saying the Philadelphia Flyers were making the playoffs. And here we are, the 2-3 matchup in the Metro Division, the Battle of the Commonwealth. So, I think in Philadelphia, you've got a lineup that's driven by and large with youth, right? Like Trevor Zegras is a young guy. He's been really good this year. Travis Konechny, he's a veteran, but he's a younger veteran. And he hasn't had a ton of experience in the playoffs. Porter Martone, it's been under-discussed how good he has been since jumping into the lineup. He's been an injection of offense to that lineup almost immediately. It's like they made a trade with 7-8 games left in the year. So he's been really good. But he's a young guy. He is a ton of inexperience on the back end. Rasmus Ristolainen is an old guy. He's never played in the playoffs. So there's playoff inexperience, but there's some veteran presence there, which will help. I think, I don't know, man. It's really, to me, a pick 'em. I honestly can't zero in, and I've been thinking about it. Like Sam Emerson, Dan Vladar, between the pipes for Philadelphia. Vladar's been good. Stuart Skinner's got all kinds of playoff experience for Pittsburgh. Yeah, at times he can be not good. I don't have to tell you, but at other times he can be great. So there's kind of a question mark between the pipes on both sides to me as well. Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Chris Letang, they've been playing really well this year. Really, really well. Like, honestly, Erik Karlsson's turned the clock back to whatever it was 3 or 4 years ago when he had 100 points. He's been, almost that good. So I guess if I had to pick, I'm going to go Pittsburgh, but probably in 7 games. I think the experience of Crosby and Malkin and Letang, this is a script for him where in the playoffs, he hasn't been as good in the regular year. Nobody remembers that now. You're in the playoffs, play good for 7 games, and that'll change the narrative on Chris's season. Karlsson has been really good. So I think that veteran presence, I think the experience of Stuart Skinner between the pipes, they've got some youth as well in Pittsburgh that have contributed this year. Ben Kindle's had a really good year. Anthony Mantha, not a young guy, but he's had an unexpectedly good year, career year. Brian Rust has had a career year. Ricard Raquel was traded before they had played a game in Pittsburgh, right, in September. Well, guess what? He's stuck around, and he's put up a great year. They've probably got a little bit more length to that lineup, a little bit more veteran presence, and some hungry veterans in Crosby and Malkin, because I think they're well aware of the fact that who knows if they'll ever get this chance together again as a group. I'm going to go Pittsburgh in 7, but it's tough. I wouldn't be shocked if Philadelphia surprises them as well with their youth, where they're kind of in a point where they're too naive to understand what they've got themselves into. I think this is going to be a great matchup.
The Boston Bruins and the Ottawa Senators are both they're the wild card teams. And if Boston wins tonight, then we know that they're going to take on Buffalo, and then Carolina would take on Ottawa. Right now, I think I'd rather face Boston because I think Ottawa has been the better team. Their goalies were brutal, but now their goalies are okay. And suddenly, like the Sens, they look good, man. Like that could, like I would love to see a Carolina Ottawa series. I think it'd be a fascinating, fast series, and I might lean to taking Ottawa in an upset in that series.
It's possible. I was talking to some people today in Carolina, and we were talking about the Hurricanes' path to a Stanley Cup final. And I said, if you can get past Ottawa, I think you're in pretty good shape. And the response was, Ottawa? Really? You're worried about them? I've said, yeah, a little bit, because they don't give up anything. What screwed them was the fact that their goalies either played dodgeball or didn't feel like it for like 60 games. But now that Linus Ullmark, and I give the guy a ton of credit, this is all anybody was asking for. He has shown up every day in the last three weeks or so. He's played like a grown man, and he's stopped the puck. And he's been the guy that they expect him to be, that they're paying $8.5 million to. And when he plays like that, the Senators are a real team. They really are. So they don't give up anything. Carolina also is a team that prides itself on its relentless forecheck, and they too are very difficult to generate offense against. It could be like a really low scoring series because both teams love to grind their opponent into the ice. At this point, would you say if Ullmark plays like this suddenly, and who would have said this 3 weeks ago, suddenly does Ottawa have the advantage in goal coming into this series? When you look at Freddie Anderson and Brandon Bussey, who, I don't know, he's been a great story this year, but I got to be honest, the fact that he's like 28 and a rookie and has never played in the playoffs as good as he's been during the regular year kind of scares the hell out of me, to be honest with you. And Freddie Anderson, in a way, can be like Linus Ullmark, where when he's on, he's great, but he's like, a left pad kick save away from doing something physically to himself where he disappears. And then what do you got? Or at times he can be inconsistent. Would you buy that in that series, that maybe Ottawa has the advantage in goal and maybe that could be the difference?
Oh, for sure. Yes. And Woodley's talked about Carolina's the fact that they might not give up a lot of shot volume, but they give up a fair amount of good chances. And so you'll go a long stretch without anything, and then you got to see a great chance. So it is, he says it's a tough system to play in for a goaltender because, goalies like to feel the puck. They like, okay, here's a shot, like obviously nobody wants to have a high danger chance after high danger chance, but it was an interesting breakdown from Woodley, who's obviously a guy who kind of jokes that got his goalie union card and everything like that. But he talks about that is it's a tougher one, and not every goalie is good in that situation. Certain guys are. So I think like Ullmark's a wild card because now who knows? Maybe
like he was no good in the playoffs last year against the Leafs. Yes, quite frankly,
he was not good at all. And so you just wonder, can you rely on him in crunch time? That's the question mark. So I don't know if I can. Well, Bussey's a question mark. I'd probably argue that at this point, Ullmark's one too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, like, how long does Ullmark have to go before you remove the question mark from that conversation? Like, does he have to win two rounds?
Show up
one round? Yeah.
It's one round. Yeah.
Like, once you develop that reputation, that's why I say it's really hard to shed that. And that becomes something that people keep in their mind as something that you're all about. So if he wins a round, he plays good, that'll be like 3 weeks and another 2 weeks. That's 5-6 weeks of really good play. That'll go a long way. I think that would help him. Like if you're Carolina right now, if you're Roddy, Jason, who do you start? Like I'd probably start Freddie at this point, but I think the leash would be, relatively short to an extent.
Davey, one last one for you. When you look around the playoffs, we know Dallas is taking on Minnesota. I'm fascinated by that series for sure. Colorado's obviously going to be really good. The Utah, LA, Anaheim, any of those teams you think can win a series?
Utah, LA, Anaheim. Well, as it stands right now, Edmonton plays the Ducks. I think that's a great matchup for Edmonton. I really do. I mean, you talk about lucking out after a year where they, quite frankly, haven't been very good for a lot of the year. Like, let's be honest, they've been inconsistent for a lot of the year. They're lucky to be where they are. You draw Anaheim in the first round, a hell of a lot better than if you were in the Central and you drew like Minnesota or Dallas. So, no, I don't think Anaheim beats Edmonton. Utah would face the Golden Knights right now. That's interesting. Utah is a team that has a lot of young, plucky offensive players that if they get cooking, maybe they can outscore some other deficiencies. Can Vejmelka be strong? That would be the question. Vegas is a team where, they've been really good under John Tortorella. Maybe they found a spark there, but that would be an interesting matchup. A younger, plucky upstart team against an older veteran, maybe a little bit slower team. But Vegas has been playing pretty good lately, so I'd still probably give them the edge. And LA right now would take on Colorado. And it's funny, I was talking to somebody in LA today, and I said, oh, it's cool for your Kings making the playoffs. I said, I hope for your sake it's not Edmonton, LA again. And he said to me, well, I'd prefer that than Colorado, which is actually a pretty good point. So put it that way. If LA faces Colorado, no, I don't think the Kings have a chance to win that either. So the only team I'd give a puncher's chance to would be Utah against Vegas, but I'd still probably pick Vegas.
Yeah, and don't talk now, but the Utah Mammoth, they're going to have to win some games. They got the Jets in St. Louis because LA's run 5 in a row, and they're playing Vancouver and Calgary. If the Kings win both of their games, they can finish ahead of Utah. So Utah is going to have to win some games here down the stretch. So it'll be fun. The wild card spots, we thought Utah was kind of locked into that number one wild card spot. Doesn't look that way anymore, the way the Kings are rolling. So we'll see what happens in the final 3 days. We know the 16 teams. We just don't know the seedings or the matchups. So it'll be fun next 72 hours. Davey, have yourself a great day. We'll talk to you on the brunch on Sunday, and we'll actually have playoff hockey to talk about. Of course, the playoffs begin on Saturday night.
Can't wait. Yeah, can't wait for it. The playoffs, unlike any other sport, the first day of the Stanley Cup playoffs, even though you're watching hockey, it still feels like you're watching a different sport. Does it not? The intensity, just it's kinetic in a way that the regular season is not. I can't wait for Saturday.
Looking forward to it, David. We will chat with you on Sunday. Have an awesome day.
See you, buddy.
There you go. That's David A. McCarthy from Sirius XM. We come back. Jason Gregor joining. Well, I am Jason Gregor. Jason Strudwick will join us. Can't join myself. What an idiot. Struddy will join us. We got Spec, DVD. We got Tater coming up with the 2-minute warning. Also, some stats of the day. And we have a debatable topic to get to with your input as the audience. The Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Welcome to Silent Ice Center, the region's newest hockey and event center in Nisku. Featuring 2 NHL-size ice surfaces, premium seating, private suites, and an electric atmosphere. From elite hockey to major tournaments, concerts, and special events, this is where the action lives. And with Summit Restaurant overlooking the rink, every event is a full experience. Silent Ice Center, built for champions, built for the community. Book your ice, your event, or your next big night at Silent Ice Center. Email booking@silenticecenter.com.
Craving your favorite mouth-watering pizzas? Papa John's has large specialty pizzas for only $19.99 for a limited time. Get a flavorful all the meats, the works, ultimate pepperoni, Hawaiian, barbecue chicken, and more on original thin or New York style crust. Use the code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
At On the Rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tune.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave ya with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best Latin DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Jeff Brab and 118th.
No fluff, no fillers, just pure entertainment. Sports 1440 brings the heat with bold opinions, big personalities, and Edmonton's fiercest fans. This is your turf. This is Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Mr. Rooter sees a UFO.
Mr. Rooter says 1 plunge, 2. What's this? A UFO? An unidentified floating object. It's beginning to glow and levitate.
Thank you, Mr. Rooter. You have freed us from the gravity of the white hole. Humanity will be spared.
Wow! People aren't going to believe this when I put it in our new commercial.
If you want to believe in a plumber, call Mr. Rooter.
Spring into savings at The Brick. Refresh your home with huge discounts. Save up to $1,800 on sofas and sectionals. And buy more, save more. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. Dreaming of better sleep? Upgrade your mattress game and save up to 40% off select mattresses and score free delivery when you use your Flexity card. Plus, save 15% when you buy 2 or more select major kitchen appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, proudly Canadian since 1971.
Measles outbreaks are occurring in Canada, including Alberta. These outbreaks are highly preventable. Measles is an extremely contagious disease that is spread easily through the air. The best way to protect yourself, your family, and your community is to ensure you are up to date with your immunizations. Don't get measles. Get immunized. Visit alberta.ca/measles to find out if you're up to date and what to do if you're not. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, Jersey barriers and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned. Over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by UL. Helping you finish your electrical project is their goal. From pot lights to electrical panels, the gear you need is at ul.ca or in person at one of their Edmonton area locations. ul.ca, your partners in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We got 350. Welcome back. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Declan Kruger with you. Cam Tate literally wheeling around the halls here at Sports 1440. We were going to get the 2-minute warning earlier, but old Princess doesn't have it ready yet, so we got to wait a little bit. So we'll get to it in a second. I want Declan to get his microphone on here for a sec because we have a conversation we're gonna have here. It's a kind of funny one. I'm because I've noticed a trend, Con. I don't know if you've noticed this, Cons, but I've noticed it lately.
Mhm.
And I can't remember exactly when it occurred, but Deck, like when did you start wearing the breathable Band-Aid? Like, why is like, are you competing in sports all of a sudden now, or is this like a new? Was it Jay-Z? No, who was it? Who wore the Band-Aid on their chin for a while, Cons? Like,
Nelly.
Nelly.
On the
Like,
cheek,
is this
yeah.
like the nose Nelly? Like, what's happening here?
Just a guy trying to breathe, man, and I didn't know I was gonna get the 5th degree for it. I kind of attribute it to an old boxing injury. Like I haven't been able to breathe out of my right nostril for honestly kind of as long as I can remember, and it only
Have you went to like a nose throat
so
specialist?
I finally have an appointment with the nose specialist on April 23rd. It's been years. It took a lot of haggling from people in my life to get me there.
Yeah, okay.
But recently, I just like I've always not been able to breathe out of it, and it's just kind of been whatever. That's one of those things when you're young and dumb, like you don't really care about things. Recently, in the last like month, 2 months, I've just been like, I got to do something about this. So I'm ripping nasal spray. I'm putting
Okay.
these-
Well, I was
yeah.
wondering because I've noticed the change. I'm like,
Mhm.
is Deck training all of a sudden? He's like, man, I got to maximize my breathing to get the most oxygen as possible here. That's what I was thinking.
Listen, just to put a bow on it, I am shocked by the amount of people who come to me and ask me if they work, what I'm doing. Like, I didn't think it was ever going to be a topic of discussion. Everyone
Well, dude,
wants
there's
to
not
know.
many people walking around with the Band-Aid
Yeah,
on there,
fair
and
play.
especially because I know it's the one that's supposed to flare out your not. What is that even called?
A breathe right nasal strip.
Breathe right nasal
No free
strip.
ads, but they do a
Okay.
great job.
Okay, so it does work.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I live by sleep with them on. I go through probably like 5 or 6 a day, maybe 4 or 5.
But you've only just like because you had it for a while because I said, okay, maybe and actually the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, maybe cut his nose. Not going to ask about it.
No.
But then I've noticed I was like, well, there's no chance, and like unless it's the deepest cut in the history of noses, so it's not that. And then I just noticed the last few weeks, it's like trust me, I pay attention, I know what's going on, but I was just curious now.
Yeah, it's like
Because we did have a texter who said they saw you in the mall and they wanted to know, like, is Declan training for something?
I am not. Should have come said hi. No, listen, it's 95% nasal problems, 5% I can't afford Balenciaga, but I want to stay fashionable. So.
Okay. What Balenciaga? What's Balenciaga?
They're just a high fashion brand.
Oh, okay. And do they have they have nasal strips?
Oh, I'm sure they don't.
So now, because you do still train, you work out. Like, does it make your workout better?
Yep, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah. No, they're like, I don't know what they're putting in these things. It feels like it's just a piece of tape. I'm sure there's more to it than that. It works. If anyone's,
it works.
If anyone's worried about getting called out live on air or by everyone in your life, I say don't worry about it. Just wear it.
No, it's all good. We weren't calling you out, buddy. That's how guys say, hey, is everything okay? Like, of course we do it in a public nature because that's more fun. But so what was the boxing injury? You break your nose a few times?
I never officially broke my nose, but it's just like you get hit in the nose every day for like 7 years.
Yeah.
You figure there's some damage
Yeah,
there,
because
right?
you don't really
So-
have you don't have the strutty beak.
no,
right?
no scars.
No?
No, like the worst was like broken hands, obviously semi-concussions, things like that. But yeah.
I like semi-concussions. like
Well,
yeah, like I got like half concussed, not fully concussed. Like, is there such a thing?
well, I don't know. It gets to the point, right, where you kind of got to stop going and get it looked at because it's like this is just kind of what you do. Like if you're getting hit in the head every day, you don't really keep going to the doctor to get tested for the concussions. You just live with what you're going through. So yeah.
Is that how they do it now? Like, I don't know
Well,
if that's like
it's
I
probably
don't know
not
if
the
that's
smartest way to
Yeah,
go
I'm not
about
sure
it.
That's like, hey guys, I'm getting hit in the head. Like, I don't know, maybe stop getting hit in the head. Like,
Well, I did eventually,
just a
so.
thought, but hey, maybe I need some time off here. Declan, what are the numbers over there? Count backwards from 10. 10, 1, 2, 3. What? So yeah, I get it. Con, you ever tried the nasal strip?
I actually just did like 2 weeks ago. My snoring apparently was getting a little out of hand.
Okay.
And Ashley was looking for a solution. So she bought the pack at Costco. And that's why I had Declan. I was one of the guys and I wasn't trying to pile on.
He was the listener who saw me in the mall.
Probably. Like, those look good. But yeah, no, because I just put them on before bed and I guess they help a little bit. But I noticed it initially because it does work. Like it does kind of open up your nasal passages. But then I go to sleep. So I don't really get, have the full experience like Deck.
You know what you could do though, if you want, get a noisemaker and put it between your pillows, between you and your wife. No, seriously, you get a noisemaker because well, depending on how light sleeper some people are, but if husbands, wives out there, you put the noisemaker in between, right? You turn it up, got the noise on, because if you're not a super uber loud snorer and she's a light sleeper, or maybe she's a snorer, because I know, hey, women, we know you snore. Because I hear they like to say they don't snort, just like women say they don't fart. It's a lie, right? Like, we know it's a lie. We get that maybe you don't do it as often. Like, you don't do it like guys. You don't have competitions with your friends, right? I get it. But we all know it's true. You don't have to pretend. We know it's happened. But the snoring one is the noisemaker makes it, it's good. All right. Hey, Greg's Declan with the semi-concussions, like saying I'm semi-pregnant. Well,
I feel like that was a phrase like 25 years ago.
Oh, no, it totally is.
Just
That's
a
what-
little.
Yeah, just like, well, you used to say I got my bell rung.
Yeah.
Right? Like that was, which is probably came from a boxing term because literally the bell rang and it's like, oh, geez, I got my bell rung, but I made it to the bell ring. I'm sure if somebody looked up where the premise of I got my bell rung had to be a connection with boxing. I mean, it's got to be. I could be wrong. I'm just going to go off of that, but
I'm quite confident there was an injury in Madden called a mild concussion. The video game?
yeah.
Like, oh yeah, he's out with a mild concussion. I think that was another one, like another in the rankings of how serious they are.
Yeah. Hey guys, when I chaperone a high school ski trip, I ruined the guy in the second day after skiing. He snored brutally. I had to put earplugs in, didn't work. Went with the bedtime noise machine on my phone, put it right beside my head, drown him out. Well, yeah, that probably works. But are you taking because you know how they say we're not supposed to have our phones in a room, right? There's all the stuff going on. So just get a noisemaker. They're cheap. They work great. I know lots of people who sleep with a noisemaker. Just if they sleep by themselves, they like it. It's comforting, right? Usually you have it for your baby, right? You put the noisemaker in and fall asleep. So I'm lucky. I can sleep anywhere. Doesn't matter. But if I ever get to the point, now I know Declan, the deck recommendation. We got a lot of people out there. Hey guys, I'm happy that Declan's taking one for the team. I've thought about wearing it. Maybe it's going to become a cool thing if more of us do it. Well, why not? Start a new trend, right? Maybe you could have like a club. You got to come up with a better name than the Nasal Strip Club. That's for sure. Find something. I don't know what it could be, but. Hey guys, McDavid wears a clear nasal strip from Zads. On the ice? Really? I gotta look into that.
I remember like Jerry Rice had one.
yeah.
A lot of running backs would wear them.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, lots of running backs for sure. I've seen it. So yeah, if guys are using it, I don't have a problem with it. So I thought maybe Deck was going right from work. You know what? He goes, hey, I'm just saving time. Just going to wear it all day long. Maximize my breathing. Because Deck's in there's doing squats during commercial breaks, push-ups, lunges. So, hey, guy's in shape. Right? Likes to do things. So just thought that maybe this is a new one. So there you go. Hey, boys, why not just call them strippers? Hey, what are you part of? I'm part of the strip club. It does sound like what? It's intriguing. It's a conversation starter. No doubt about that. We'll start a conversation. Is that on your nose? Well, I'm part of the strip club. And just say it with so much confidence that they're like, what? I don't know. Hey, boys, who had Declan on the cutting edge of a fashion trend on their bingo card? From Bill. I think Declan's club should be called the Nostril Spreaders. Oh, yeah. Keep it up, fellas. Good one. One of these might stick. No pun intended. No pun intended. We will return. I wonder if Struddy's ever had breathing issue. Probably not, though. Probably not. What did he say to, hey, save some air for the rest of us? That might have been the funniest line I think he's ever said to Nasher about his big nose. We'll take a quick break, and coming up in the next hour number 3 of the show, we will get to Struds on. Of course, also we'll get to 5 questions and more. But first, let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Mortgages to Go. You need cash and you have equity in your home? Well, Mortgages to Go has you covered. When the bank says no, they say yes. And they've been doing it in Alberta for over 23 years. Give them a call. 1-888-888-5998 or visit mortgagestogo.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Busy night in the NHL as the regular season concluding in just a couple days. Devils in Boston, Hurricanes up against the Islanders. The Flyers host the Canadiens, Caps and Jackets. Wild host the Ducks, Jets taking on the Mammoth. Flames host the Avs, Penguins up against the Blues and the Kings in Vancouver. In the association, play in action 9 and 10 matchup as the Hornets host the Heat at 5:30. Then at 8 o'clock, the 7 and 8 teams, Suns and Blazers from Phoenix. Major League Baseball, Jays out in Milwaukee, kicking off a series against the Brewers. First pitch 5:40. We'll join that game in progress on our AM feed only immediately following the Jason Gregor Show. Elsewhere, Diamondbacks and Orioles, Cubbies head to Philly, Yankees host the Angels, Red Sox and Twins. Guardians and Cards. Astros host the Rockies, while the Mariners taking on the San Diego Padres. In the AJ Game 7, Storm and Wolverines in Whitecourt. Puck drop at 7. And in the PWHL, Vancouver hosting Seattle just after 8. On the pitch earlier today, the Canadian women defeating South Korea 3-1 despite being down a player as Jade Rose received a red card in the 27th minute. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll get to the stat of the day and be joined by Jason Strudwick plus 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
You see it? Fusion Promo Marketing can make it. Fusion makes high-quality, memorable promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. From vision to reality, get noticed and remembered. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Oodle Noodle origins.
In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudel, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the New World. At Ellis Island, Nudel was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as
Oodle Noodle.
Good to go. With Mortgages to Go, you'll be good to go. MortgagesToGo.ca says yes when the banks say no. That's why Alberta has trusted Mortgages to Go for over 23 years. If you need cash and have equity in your home, you're approved instantly, guaranteed. Call 1-888-888-5998. That's 1-888-888-5998. With Mortgages to Go, you'll say, I'm good to go.
Hey, hon, I'm getting expressions and images to frame my hockey card collection in the man cave.
Perfect. I'll come with you and bring our wedding photos. For sports memorabilia and family treasures, think Expressions and Images, your local custom framer since 91. You name it, we frame it.
In like a lion or like a lamb, out like a goat. That's greatest offer of all time with Sherwood Honda. While there's plenty of goats on the lot, you can also custom order yours. Pick your Honda model with the color, interior, trim, and technology for the ride you've always wanted. Sherwood Honda can help you build and price your new Honda to make it the greatest order of all time. Pre-ordering sure would be simple and satisfying with help from Sherwood Honda.
There's nothing like a spring sunset by the lake. Oh, wait, that's a pothole. And that was a new truck. Oh, what the Springtime in Edmonton also means project time with help from Metal Supermarkets. Huge inventory cut to your precise requirements, plus metal bending, drilling, punching, notching, plasma cutting, welding, even delivery. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
Start thinking spring road trips and off-road trips in your new Subaru Crosstrek. Stylish, rugged, and so many features. Standard on every Crosstrek. Subaru symmetrical all-wheel drive, EyeSight driver assist technology, heated seats, and LED steering responsive headlights. Plus, with interest rates from 0.99%, you'll love the affordable weekly payments. No waiting, immediate delivery available. Subaru Crosstrek. Visit Subaru.ca. Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru.
Are you overwhelmed by debt and getting non-stop calls from creditors? It can feel like there's no escape.
Debt doesn't have to be a life sentence. A single call can turn things around. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO right here in Edmonton. I can help you become debt-free with a solution just for you. Let's put an end to those calls from creditors together. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. For a limited time, get your favorite large specialty pizza from Papa John's for only $19.99. Use code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
.408. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. As always, The Gregor Show brought to you by playalberta.ca. We got some NHL, NBA play-in games, NHL games tonight. You got to roll with the Kings, don't you? The Kings are rolling. Going into Vancouver tonight, and LA is now officially clinched a playoff spot, but they're obviously they still actually have a chance to get home ice advantage if you finish second in the Pacific. Now they would have to win both their games, and the Oilers would have to not win their game, because if Edmonton wins, they own the tiebreaker. The Kings won't beat anybody in a tiebreaker, but they are rolling right now. And then you got the play-in game, so should be fun. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Text us, and of course, you can get in at playalberta.ca with those picks. We are going to get now. I've been talking about this for a while, and we'll get to our stat of the day in a second, but been discussing it for quite a while on the show. That I had a long read on the Norris Trophy. It's a hot topic right now, and rightfully so, because it's a hotly contested. There's probably 9 defensemen you could look at and say, I could see how these guys would get votes to be in the top 5 in any position. I don't know if they're all capable of being a number 1 vote as far as first place votes. I think there's a few guys who can get first place votes. Werenski, for sure. I think Evan Bouchard's going to get some first place votes. I think that, Hudson in Montreal could garner a few. Rasmus Dahlin, Cale Makar, Maurice Seider potentially. Then there's other guys. Somebody could vote for Quinn Hughes in the top 5. Somebody could vote for Erik Karlsson if you look at his numbers. Darren Radish, you look at his numbers. Heiskanen, you look at him. So it's a pretty good group, right? Seider, Hughes, Bouchard, Werenski, Heiskanen, Hudson, Dahlin, Makar, Karlsson, and Radish. So we're going to get to some of those numbers in our stats of the day, brought to you by All Star Construction since 2009, focusing on underground utilities, power, gas, telecommunication, and street lighting. They help build and shape Edmonton communities. That is All Star Construction. So we'll go through a few of the numbers, because I don't think there's a clear guaranteed winner. I think it's going to be tight. There's somebody that could have somebody 1, 2, 3, and somebody else could have the same 3 guys in a different order of 1, 2, 3. And I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. Because it depends. What are you going to value and how it's different? So you look at, first of all, let's kind of go with the easy one straight up. Time on ice. And I think it's important. You look at defensemen, time on ice. And that's why I'm sorry. Like, I've heard these people, like, Bakula went on a national radio show yesterday in Toronto talking about, wow, you know, and if you want to say why you don't vote for a player, okay. But you can't say that you're not going to vote for Bouchard because, well, and what do you look for a defenseman? Well, I want a guy who kills penalties. I want a guy who can play at least, because he said, at least on the second unit penalty kill and at least against the other team's second line. And I'm like, what? Bouchard's the number 1 penalty killer on Edmonton. He plays the most. Evan Bouchard, here's minutes played, all situations amongst NHL defensemen this year. Mo Seider, number 1 at 2,087. Hughes, 2,052. Evan Bouchard, 2,001. Those are the only 3 defensemen who have logged over 2,000 minutes this season. Now, some guys miss games. I get it, right? Like Zach Werenski, he's at 1970, and he's missed 6 games. Werenski plays the most minutes per game, okay? I understand it. It's valid. But I'm just talking total minutes played. You impact the game. So Evan Bouchard plays 2,001 minutes. Then you look at how many minutes does he play, and this is courtesy of Puck IQ, 5-on-5 against elite players. The guy who plays the most is Werenski at 531, Mo Seider 529, Bouchard's 4th at 489. Not much of a difference. Like, we're talking a difference of 45 minutes over the course of a whole season. It's like 32 seconds a game? It's basically like 1 extra shift a game, maybe. Then you look at penalty kill time. So you look at 5-on-5 time. Quinn Hughes has played the most 5-on-5. Then you have Seider. Then you have Werenski. And then Bouchard is just below Lane Hudson. Penalty kill time amongst the top guys. Heiskanen's number 1 by quite a bit at 239. Bouchard's second at 147. But what's interesting is if you look at it, I like to rank it on their own teams. So you can look at penalty kill minutes, but then you got to look at penalty kill minutes where they play on their team. Like Makar does play 144 in the PK, but that's 4th on his team. So he's not usually taking the number 1 penalty kill reps. Bouchard does. Heiskanen does. Right? Mo Seider plays 129. He's like a minute below the other guy. They're top pairing. Right? If you're not in the top 2, then you're not playing the most. You're not one of the 2 defensemen on the ice, usually to start the penalty kill. That's what it means. Right? And then you look at power play time on ice. Now, Bouchard, what's funny is everyone, Bouchard's what do the kids say? Power play merchant. So the Oilers have the best power play. Evan Bouchard has the second most power play points behind Quinn Hughes. Hughes has played the most power play minutes at 308. Then Makar's at 304. And he's at 304 and he's missed 7 games. Because they're on the ice lots, but they don't score. Evan Bouchard is at 294, which puts him 3rd amongst those top 9 guys. Now, 5-on-5 points. Number 1, Werenski with 47. Number 2, Hudson with 46. Dahlin 45. Bouchard 44. Total points, Bouchard 92. Werenski 81. Hudson's at 78. Hughes at 76. Makar's at 75. Dahlin's at 74. You have Radish at 70. And then you have Carlson at 66. Heiskanen at 63. And Mo Seider's at 60. And you can break it down, penalty kill time, power play time, points, all that stuff. And now here's the one thing that I do think is important when you look at defensemen. Werenski is the only guy, because you look at Seider, DeBrincat's 40-goal guy. He has 80-plus points. So the players, defensemen who have guys with 80-plus points. Bouchard has McDavid and Draisaitl. Makar has McKinnon and Natchez. Hudson has Suzuki and Caulfield. Hughes has Kaprizov and Boldy. Radish has Kucherov. Heiskanen has Robertson and Wyatt Johnson. Seider has DeBrincat. The only guy who doesn't have one is Zach Werenski. And so if we're looking at points, and points are a big deal, Zach Werenski is the only guy who leads his team in scoring. He doesn't have, and that does impact you as a defenseman, because you can have where you'll make a pass out of the zone, your guy rushes up the ice, scores. Right? That's an advantage. You can't overlook it for Evan Bouchard. Just look at the recent goal that McDavid scored in Utah, right? McDavid took the puck at the top of the circle in his own zone, went in and scored. You get an assist on it, great. Tristan Jarry got an assist on it, awesome. But a few of those points, they help you. You can't discount that. So to me, I like to look at everything overall. And all I know is after crunching all the numbers, I found it's fascinating when people will talk about, doesn't play defense. Well, he plays more minutes 5-on-5 against elite players than everybody but two. And we're talking a difference of like 45 minutes, 44 actually. Penalty kill minutes, plays more than everyone except Heiskanen. How can you tell me that Bouchard doesn't? If you only want to look at highlight reels and look at mistakes, okay, no problem. But at least admit that that's what you're influenced by. Because I believe if you have a national broadcast, you cannot, if we're going to talk about giveaways, and I don't want, you know what? You don't want a defenseman who gives away the puck? Great. I don't want a broadcaster who goes on national TV and promotes false statistics. I'm sorry. That's your job. Your job is to promote factual stuff. You want to debate on it? You can say, hey, here's the numbers. I still like this guy more because of this or that. Fine. But at least your stats are factual. Okay? This isn't politics. Okay? Factual. You can't go on national shows claiming, I need a guy who kills penalty. The Cars kill. Yeah, so does Bouchard. Actually kills more penalty minutes this year. All right? Then you're claiming, it doesn't play top minutes. Yes, those guys do. If you don't want to vote for Bouchard, no problem. Because I can make a strong argument for Werenski. I can make a strong argument for Hudson. I can make a strong argument for Dahlin. I really could. Just like I could make a strong argument for Bouchard. Bouchard isn't the clear-cut winner. Some Oiler fans will think that, and that's fine. They're a fan of the Oilers. It's not their job as a fan to watch the other teams. That's the media's job. If you're an analyst, especially a national analyst, you should damn well know what all the players are doing if you're going to have a discussion on a topic. It's just that simple. So for me, you can go read the article. And, this just coming down. Connor Unger is going back to Bakersfield. Interesting. Interesting. So, do they have an injury on goal there? Who knows? They're playing 3 games here in the next few days. But when you're looking at it, you can read the article. I didn't even put my opinion on the players in it. Because you know what? I got to vote. I'm going to try to influence Buddy. Vote for this guy. Vote for this guy. I'm just presenting the numbers and the data. Here's what each guy does in different situations at different places on the ice. Teammates can have some impact, but I don't buy the argument, well, if you put this guy on this team, he would be there. He might, but that's irrelevant to the conversation. That has nothing to do. You don't vote for awards based on a what-if scenario. Well, what if this guy played elsewhere? Why would I ever vote on something that's a what-if situation? It's moronic. First of all, I don't know what the answer would be because it's what if, right? What if? Well, what if I was 6'5"? Maybe I'd have been playing defense instead of a forward. Like, what the hell does that even mean? It means nothing. What happens is when people don't have anything to counter your point, they will deflect and come to something else. That's just what it is. But so go look at it. Go look at the award. But I will say this. There's no clear-cut winner. And whether it's Werenski wins, if Bouchard wins, if Hudson wins, if Dahlin wins, for me, when I crunch the numbers, I'll just say this. Like, I know who I'm going to put in my top 5 in no particular order, but I know guys who won't be in my top 5. I'm sorry, but anybody who has Quinn Hughes in their top 5 this year, I don't think you're paying attention. There's no statistic that ranks him where, other than time on ice at 5-on-5, none of his stats are great. You look at his goals, 4 goals against, 5-on-5. They're not comparable, right? They're not comparable overall. Like Quinn Hughes is +4, 86 to 82. You can't just use his numbers in Minnesota. It's not how the award works. And even if you use his numbers in Minnesota, just in that time span, there's other D-men in those 50 games that he's played that have actually had better numbers overall. I know they're talking about assists per game, and that's a really cool thing. Don't get me wrong. It's great. But that's not enough to win a Norris. I don't even think it's enough to get you top 5 this year. I wouldn't have Radish in my top 5. And as good as Miro Heiskanen is defensively, his numbers are funny enough. Like everyone's like, yeah, he plays a lot of minutes defensively on the penalty kill, but they're not great. Funny enough. Now, that's just going off of, goals for and expected goals. So I know that your goaltender plays a major role in whose ever numbers you're on the penalty kill. Goalie helps a lot. He makes big saves, your penalty kill looks better. It's just a fact for any team. But there are guys like, how much do I punish a player who isn't on the penalty kill a ton? How much of a factor is it? When you look at guys who play 2,000 minutes all year, and on the penalty kill, Bouchard is second most at 147. So do the math. It's not a big percentage of his season. So guys who are like, if you played 91 minutes, but you played 1,970, like that's barely 10% of your ice time. So how much can I weigh it? I can't weigh it heavily. Well, he's not on the penalty kill very much, so that's got to be a huge factor. It's a small one. So I try to weigh them all in weekly. That's how I do it. Everybody's going to be different, but I just think as a voter, you should take it serious. It's important. Somebody would love to win a Norris. I don't like to hand out votes based on reputation. I don't like to hand out votes based on, well, that guy could have won it last year, should have won it, so now I got to vote for him. I don't think that's fair either. So every year is different, and you can see all the numbers in the article at OilersNation.com. We'll put it out on X today as well, thanks to Puck IQ and Natural Stat Trick and NHL.com. That's where you get all the, at least the statistics that I use. And there's other ones, but I also use the history of it. And I do want to go, because here's the numbers, because this one, like, I will argue it to the death. It makes no sense to me. 1983-84. Rod Langway. He won back-to-back Norris trophies. Now, Langway was traded from Montreal to Washington in September of 1982. This was his first year in Washington. And he finished with 32 points, was -2. There's not a lot of other data to go off of at that time. But he was considered a defensive defenseman. But he was -2. So and keep in mind, he's a -2 player on a team that when they're up, if you're trailing in a game, so you go 6-on-5 and you give up an empty net goal, he's not the guy on the ice there. You're not putting Rod Langway on the ice when you've got Scott Stevens and Larry Murphy and you're trying to tie the game. So he wasn't getting an abundance of empty net goals against him to lower his plus-minus. But he was -2. He had 32 points. Paul Coffey had 96 points and was +52, and he didn't win. And then the next season, Langway wins it a second time. Langway finishes with 33 points and now +14. Paul Coffey, 126 points. He had 93 more points. It was +52. What? How is that possible? I don't get it. I just can't fathom it. I don't understand it. How can a guy have 126 points and you're going to tell me that Rod Langway was a better defense? Where? Because was his defense that much better? One guy was +52, one guy was +14. So even if he's given up more goals, he's still scoring way more to overcompensate the goals he gives up. And here's the one thing, when you get 126 points, that means you are directly involved in the goals. Directly involved. You're not always directly involved in goals against. And you're not always directly involved in goals when you're on the ice. But when you get an assist, you're directly involved. Might have been an easy assist, but you're still directly involved in it. And then the voters decided, well, you know what? We might have reached too far. Because after that, Coffey won in 85 and 86. He won the next 2 years. He won in 95. Bork won in 87, 88, 90, 91. Chelios won in 93. Brian Leach won in 92. You had a lot of top-end guys, Hall of Fame defensemen. Right? Because the Hall of Fame guys still played a lot of minutes. Now, at recent winners since 1995, you come out of the lockout, you got more voters, and Chris Chelios won. Now, the guy, and I just want to point this out to Oiler fans, the guy with the most points doesn't always win. It's a big factor, but it's not the only factor. Chris Chelios was 4th in points. with 72 and 96. He beat Ray Bourque by only 5 points. Wow. Now, he was barely behind them in scoring, right? But there's not a lot of data to go off of, but it was a very close vote, 403 to 408. Right? First place votes, Bourque actually had one more, 23-22, but Chelios beat him in second place votes, 19 to 16. Wild. And like I said, offense was close. They were within 10 points, Bourque and Chelios. Leach won in 97. He won with 42 out of 54 first place votes. Led all defensemen in scoring. There's lots of years where I can say guy led in scoring. He won that. So don't tell me that offense doesn't matter. It matters. It's not the only thing that matters, but you can't suddenly tell, well, I don't think it matters. It's always mattered. And to suggest it doesn't matter, frankly, is moronic. It doesn't, I can't understand how you can tell me that offense doesn't matter for a defenseman. Is puck moving not a part of the game? Is getting the puck out of your zone, up to your forwards, and then making plays in the offensive zone? Like, what do you mean it doesn't matter? Of course it matters. It's harder to produce offense than it is to limit offense. That's just been proven. All you got to do is watch a trap, right? If you want to play the trap, it's born a sin. It's easy to do as a system, and you can limit goals against. It's hard to score. So offense will play. Now, it's not the only stat. So check out the numbers. Let me know what you think. That's our stats of the day, brought to you by All-Star Construction. Struddy joins us next. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. If you need it immediately with no overtime rates. If you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling. Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle. Throw the load down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
From the first pitch to the final out, catch Toronto Blue Jays baseball games live right here. Don't miss a moment of Blue Jays baseball this season. Sports 1440 is proud to be the home of Blue Jays baseball.
Want to invest in Alberta's workforce, fill your talent pipeline, and get funding? Careers, the next generation connects employers with motivated, pre-vetted youth through funded internships. Easy, impactful, and risk-free.
When you work with a group like Careers who have experience in that area, they can demystify and navigate all the complex steps and stakeholders that have to be involved.
Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
Ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Spring into savings at the Brick. Refresh your home with huge discounts. Save up to $1,800 on sofas and sectionals, and buy more, save more. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. Dreaming of better sleep? Upgrade your mattress game. Save up to 40% off select mattresses and score free delivery when you use your FlexiBee card. Plus, save 50% when you buy 2 or more select major kitchen appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick. Proudly Canadian since 1971.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Did you know that Japa offers in-house and on-site heavy equipment service? Rain or shine, Japa's service department is here for you. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.431, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. It's always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where tonight, it's Tuesday. You know what that means. Lotto Max. Get your tickets. 25 Max Millions up for grabs at PlayAlberta.ca. As I don't know if you noticed it or not, but Connor Unger, for those of you, he's been recalled to Bakersfield. So I don't know if he'll be in action tonight or not, or they're coming up for the weekend. So maybe Tompkins, Pickard, they got somebody banged up there. We'll see. Let's get to Struds On, brought to you by Action Electrical. 53 years. They become one of the most diversified electrical contractors in Alberta. And of course, one of the main things is commercial solar. Commercial building owners who install solar can qualify up to a 30% federal tax credit plus accelerated capital cost allowance benefits. Learn more at actionelectrical.net.
The Jason Gregor Show presents Struds On.
I don't believe in tea bags. I use loose leaf tea. It is so much better than the tea bags. I'll eat tea bags. I'll
Struds On.
I'm not a huge DJ guy. I mean, I guess if you hand me a couple glow sticks and a tight white t-shirt that I can get wet, maybe I'd be into it.
Struds On.
There's a lone steakhouse I used to go to down in Kentucky, and they had bowls of peanuts. I wasn't sucking on those ones. You need to have clean nut. I'm talking about the kind you get in a bag at an Elks game. You know what I mean?
It's time for Struds On.
Struddy, good afternoon. How you doing?
Well, good. What's up with everybody today?
Oh, just we know the 16 playoff teams, so now it's a matter of who plays where. What were your biggest takeaways from the game last night, Oilers and Avs?
Well, I love the way they're trending defensively. I mean, you had Matthias Ekholm talk about it and how, it wasn't good at the beginning of the year. Now it's coming in. This team's going to score goals. If you ask me what's more likely, this team to explode on the power play when everyone gets healthy and never put some 5-on-5 goals, or 2 months ago saying they're going to be a lockdown defensive team. I'm like, they're going to be an offensive team when they get healthy. If they get healthy, they'll be a big difference maker. But the idea they have of defending and the way that their goaltenders are performing, that is what I really want to see, because I know the other part's going to come.
Well, you assume so. Eventually, their offense will come. Obviously, you get Draisaitl back. that 5-on-3 strategy, that was really the difference in the game. You got to take advantage of the 5-on-3. And to me, they kept trying to force the same play, the down low cross pass. It just wasn't working.
Yeah, you have a lot of guys that haven't worked together in this situation, and some of them just aren't that guy. Like, if you go back 2 games ago, then they gave me fan of Podkolzin, but he got the puck below the goal line, and he rifled the pass to Nuge, who was in a shooting position just to the left of the netminder, kind of just north of the hash mark. He couldn't handle the pass. Normally, that's probably Leon Draisaitl making that pass. That's on the tape, and that's a massive scoring chance for him. So, you have guys that aren't normally set up in these situations playing in them, and then that's the power play. Then he pushed in the 5-on-5. Again, it pushes other guys down, and every line gets better because you're replacing players at the top of your lineup with even better players, and everyone gets pushed down. So that's why, honestly, I had some friends worried about the scoring. I'm like, guys, they've proved they can score. They are going to score. I'm worried about the defending and the net minding, and that is trending in much better direction.
Well, yeah, Ingram was great. Now he didn't like his shootout. He didn't like his playing the shootout. You know, and I don't mind the passion. Because he's got no one else to blame in that regard, right? He looks and says, "Hey, man, I can be mad because everybody knows he's only mad at himself in that point, right? Like you don't do that after you give up a breakaway goal or something, of course, because people think you're mad at your teammates. In this case, you know, he's like, hey, I got to make a save. And I know he really didn't like the first goal. He thought that that's the one he probably should have got a piece on. You can say, hey, really nice shot for Nichushkin. So there's always one side will say nice shot. The other side will say, no, I should have had it. But the Oilers, you know, you look at Colorado and the point last night, Struds, barring a major collapse against Vancouver, pretty much puts them in a position where they don't have to meet Colorado now until the third round. And that's massive.
Oh, it's huge. And really anyone from that division, you know, they've got, you know, Dallas and Minnesota. It looked like Dallas was going to push for a while. They kind of fell off, but they've got 2 40-goal scorers. They've got a good group to play against. And Minnesota, we know they're a pretty big and heavy team. Yeah, they're skilled. And people think about Boldy or Kaprizov or Faber and obviously Hughes, but they're a big, heavy team that likes to play heavy as well. So let those guys knock each other around in the first round, and Colorado gets them in the second round. And then the path through the Pacific is a lot easier for them. So, yeah, I anticipate the Oilers finish somewhere, you know, where they don't have to play the crossover at all. And then I like to think the Oilers are only going to get better as they go, right? And we've seen that happen before. Last year, they lost the first 2 games against the Kings, and they kind of got on the bitter roll. Think about when they, dismantled Dallas in 5. So I'm really looking forward to see what this team can do. Obviously, health is a huge thing, and it sounds like Leon's going the right way. Hyman as well. Dickinson, I think it's important that he comes back, and I'm a little worried about that situation there. I think he's an important player for this group.
Oh God, yes. No, he took the shot off the ankle, Struddy, and it could be a bone bruise, which can be brutal, but the bone bruise, when the swelling goes down, might turn into a hairline fracture. That's what happened to Wallman earlier in the season. And I think that's kind of what's happening with Dickinson. That's why the coach couldn't give you a definite timeline, because they don't really know, right? Like I'm sure you played with a bad bruise where it didn't break anything, Struddy, but it's just painful, right? And so it's like, man, can I put my foot in my skate and can you play with it? Like there's certain injuries, you got a bad rib. Okay, it hurts to move, but I can play through it because I can freeze it a little bit. I was told that it's really difficult to freeze the ankle because now your mobility and your ankle flexion is so vital to skating that it's hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, luckily I was such a good skater, Grace. It didn't really affect me too much. Me and Leon Draisaitl. But you know what? I've been through situations where you block a shot with your foot and it kills, and you do not want to take your boot off. And then after the game, you take it off, and it's so sore that night. It's got its own heartbeat. In that area got hit, and then you're just cringing the next day. You're like, I don't want to put this back in my boot, and you put it in, and it is just so much pain. And then it slowly warms up, and it gets a little better, but you don't really want to move. And then the game gets you excited, but it lingers, and that's without a break. So, I don't know. I just the way he reacted, like he's a pretty tough guy, and for him to have to get helped off like he did, like he didn't even walk off. Right? He didn't, usually guys kind of hobble off.
Yes.
Looks like maybe you stubbed the toe. Well, this was not a stubbing of the toe. So I have no idea. I'm not a doctor. I don't want to paint a grim picture, but just from experience seeing things, it looked like he was, struggling quite a bit.
You look ahead now, Struddy, to that game against Vancouver, and the Oilers will know what's at stake, second place, third place, maybe first, I guess, if Seattle can do them a favor against Vegas on Wednesday night. But either way, how do you approach that game when you got playoffs? The game's going to mean something. So is it just kind of like, okay, this is no different than game 45. We just got to go out and we got to play well. Or the fact that if you win, it guarantees you home ice advantage. Like I'm assuming the latter is easier because it just gives you that extra motivation. How do you think the approach is for players going into the final game, knowing where there's a part of you that just wants to get through it, but you can't really think that way, can you?
No, and you got to look at the other side. Like Vancouver, literally, some of those guys will probably have flights out of Edmonton to home. Like they're just like, let's get the hell out of here. That's been a disaster of a season for that whole group, and the management. It's just a disaster. So their head is gone. So you can't give them a reason to believe that they have a chance tonight. Don't give them any hope to be ready to go. Now on the Oilers side, let's assume they have they have a chance to play for something that matters. Well, you set yourself up because you also want to prepare for the playoffs. So you want to go in there with a good feeling. You've also got Connor McDavid. I feel like he's probably got Art Ross locked up, but maybe 50 is interesting for him. I think he's 2 or 3 off 50. So, you're playing against a team that probably isn't highly motivated, and that's something that gets you excited as well. And then, do you need to get Stastny in there? The guy hasn't seen a game, and I'm going to say a month. Griggs, you may know more than I, but does he need to get in there? Because if there's an injury, if you want to roll in with a guy who hasn't played in a while, now he skates well, and I'm sure he's been doing all the stuff he has to with to stay ready. But does game action matter for him? Now, you brought up Howard. I thought you might play Stastny the other day, but maybe they think they might need Howard in the playoffs, depending on where everything's at. Maybe more skilled player than that. So I'd like to see Stastny get in there. I don't know if there's a space for that to happen, but I would sure like for him to get some action heading into the playoffs, knowing he'll probably have to play at least sometime if it's a long run.
Yes, that's a very valid point that, you could get him in. And yeah, to me, the easiest guy or the obvious guy to get a night off would be Ekholm. Just age, everything else, that'd be the guy.
Fair point. Yeah, and that'd be fair to me. If you don't want to dress 7, that's fair too. And, you just explain to him, hey, man, this is where we're at. And I think he'd get it. That'd be a little, because you think about it, that'd be actually quite a long break depending on the Oilers start, right? Is it Saturday or Sunday or whatever day they'd start? That'd be a pretty long break for him to kind of just rest up. And I think it makes sense. Again, I hope they don't have to use Stastny, but if history's showing us anything, you probably need more than 6 D-men in what they hope will be a 2, 3, or 4 round run.
Yeah, no, it's totally valid. You look at some of the other matchups, Pittsburgh, Philly. What do you like about that matchup?
I thought they were both going to be out and going for the lottery. I thought that's what they were competing for. So I sure nailed that one, especially Pittsburgh. What a job they've done there. Kyle Dubas, adding players, getting rid of players, and then as you're doing that, adding, draft pieces and younger players in there. I think he's done an unreal job with that group. And then you got Philly on the other side, and the Vladar signing is maybe one of the best of the whole summer when you look at what he's done for that group. I think he's their VIP. He's their MVP of the year. So I think that's a huge one there. I'm going to pick with my heart here. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh in this one. A little bit older group, that kind of probably knows how to win a little bit more than that. But it's not like Pittsburgh's been winning a lot in the playoffs in recent years. But I'd probably go Pittsburgh in that one.
Montreal and Tampa Bay.
Yeah, man, Buffalo, I think they did themselves a good deal getting above those guys because that's going to be a tough series. Tampa Bay, we know how good they've been for a long time. And then Montreal's a young team on the uprise. So I like this one. I still think it's going to be Tampa. I'm really interested to see how the smaller stars of the Canadians handle, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 rounds. Can they still find that space? Can Hudson, Caulfield, and to a different level, but still Suzuki, how do they handle the playoff games? And as it wears on and goes on, do they get worn down as kind of smaller gentlemen?
Well, that is to me the one, that challenge combined with the experience of Tampa Bay. And the other factor, Struddy, and Woodley talked about this yesterday. I hadn't looked into it as much and he's the goalie guy, so I trust him, that they give up a lot in Montreal. Like Dobush has been really good for them, which is great. But in the playoffs, if you give up too much, it's hard. And as good as Dobush is, I still give Vasilevsky the advantage. So I think if Montreal is going to beat him, they're going to have to play better defensively. And I'm not sold yet that they're there as a team, right? It's a hard, somebody brought up that they feel Montreal is kind of like the Oilers were, in 2017 to 21. Good team coming around, but still hadn't figured out how to play defense.
No, what I like about their management group, and I know this wasn't your question you asked, they're being patient. They didn't go out and go for it and add it, with impatience to try to build something. They've been patient, and the time will come to go out and make some big deals. We've seen Brendan Gallagher. He was sitting out, quite a few games this year. They're going to start maybe swinging a little bit more for the fences and that, although they added some pretty good D-men. Then I know Noah Dobson, I haven't seen that. I think he's out for a little bit, isn't he? That makes a difference too on the back end for Montreal.
Yeah.
So I would say Tampa in that one as well. But that's a series I want to watch closely and see how those smaller stars react and interact in the playoffs against a really good team like Tampa.
Yeah, well, Tampa definitely big. And you know that Tampa Bay, they're going to try to test your mettle to see if you'll punch back. I think Montreal did in their last meeting, which was great. And now they're going to have to do it for a 7-game series. Like, it's what's different about the playoff, Struddy, and you were involved in it, is in the regular season, you know what, you come in, your coaching staff talks about what you want to do. He might talk like maybe one thing, hey, watch for this play from so-and-so, right? But in the playoffs, you can now come in with, we know they like to do this, this, and this, right? They can give you, like, I don't know, anywhere from probably 3 to 10 different things to focus on, because it's hard to suddenly change everything about your system and your approach once the playoffs begin.
Oh, it's true. And you'd go into so much detail. Like, it was incredible. I mean, I remember one playoff series, we all were assigned a player, and we had to make a presentation on that player. So I'd be watching video of whoever it was, like Adam Foote, I think maybe I had, and I went through it and talked about what he did and how he liked to play. And so we all really got to know all these players really, really intimately. We lost 4-0, but my presentation wasn't good enough, obviously. But you have to put that time in, and it is different than what happens mid-series. Maybe there's a change. Maybe there's a change of lines or a change of defending, whatever, right? However they do it. So there's lots of details, and it makes it really, really fun to be a part of, to watch that go.
Lastly, Struddy, when you look at the Vegas Golden Knights, how different do you look at them now that Carter Hart's giving them decent goaltending?
That's a big change. Now, I've been very, very vocal about their D and their factor missing Pietrangelo. And, they haven't had the goaltending they wanted so far. So maybe if he can get it going, I think that makes a pretty big difference for them. And it gives your D-men more confidence to make, plays and not feel like you have to try to stop everything in there. But I don't know, man. This isn't Vegas of a few years ago. To me, I'm not fearful of them. I know they've got Marner and they've got Eichel and these guys, but I'm just not as fearful. I think they were a better team a few years ago. So, you're the Oilers. Let's just say it's Ducks, Vegas. I think that's a pretty good path through to the Western Conference Final.
Well, if you're the Oilers, like, the Ducks would be the number one team you want to face right now. And, there's a decent chance. The Ducks got to win a game, though, right? They play Minnesota and then they play Nashville. Now, Nashville might be easier now. Nashville, they went close and then had their heart broken. And now they're out and they might be like, God, just get us over. But Minnesota rested all their guys last night, Struds. And by the sounds of it, they're going to ice most of their guys tonight. And that could be a tough one for the Ducks. Now, maybe those guys were all in the lineup, but they're like, we got nothing to play for. Let's just, we'll play without playing. You know what I mean? So you don't want to risk injury. Yeah. So whereas the Ducks say they're in the playoffs, but they should be motivated to avoid finishing 8th. So chop for the Ducks tonight. And if they get a win, Edmonton beats Vancouver. That obviously improves the chances of those two meeting in the first round. So we'll see. Strutty?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Should be good. Have yourself a wonderful Tuesday evening. We will we'll chat with you. What do you got in store? What's coming up on the Strudwick D camp this weekend?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to work a lot on defending one-on-one. And I'm pretty passionate about it. One-on-one defending. I know a lot of times coaches don't have time to actually get into the details, so we'll get into it. In a couple of days, I always notice a big improvement from it, and it'd be a lot of fun. But speaking of that, you know what, Greg, I heard your conversation about Bouchard and what you were talking about with the guys on Saturday night. And one thing you didn't touch on, and I believe I looked 2 weeks ago, Evan Bouchard has the most primary assists. And for me, a D-man, you want to defend, you want to be all that stuff, but making a first pass makes a difference. Now, I understand some of these passes might be not always the first pass, but they can't all be on the power play. They can't all be in the neutral zone. So I found that to be something that's really important to me. I value in kids I play or coach, or I work with them at my camps. But I believe Evan's number one. And I think that's something that is worth mentioning and looking at when you're evaluating, the top team, because that's an important part of the job.
Yeah, he's got, well, technically Hughes is now number one because their last game, but I don't think Hughes is in the running. But Bouchard's at 32, Hudson's at 31, McCarr's at 30, Werenski's at 28. So yes, it is. It's definitely a factor, no question. And I do think the other factor when we're looking at points for D-men, Werenski is at a disadvantage because, you know, Hughes has Kaprizov and Boldy, Bouchard has Draisaitl and McDavid, Hudson has Caulfield and Suzuki, McCarr has McKinnon and Natchez. Werenski has no one with more points than him, right? He's got Marchenko, who's third. Like Columbus isn't in the playoffs because they couldn't get anybody to score, right, amongst their forwards. And so that's, you know, that is something because I think you just made a good point. I look at some defensemen's assists. When you got a McKinnon or you got a McDavid or you got a guy who can go end to end, you pass it from, 3 feet inside your own zone. He goes end to end. You're like, sick assist, but I didn't really have to do much.
Yeah. No, it's true. Yeah. It is true. But you still got to make the plays because there's 5 other D-men on the Oilers that don't make the plays like that, and they're passing with 2 guys. So I think that, to me, that's a really important thing to also take a look at as part of your criteria.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Have yourself a great day.
Thanks, buddy. We'll talk to you later.
There you go. That is Jason Strudwick. Quick break. We'll return to Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicked things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Booster Juice is going crazy for hazelnuts.
No, not crazy. Nuts.
Booster Juice is going bananas for hazelnuts.
I mean, there are bananas in smoothies, but that's not the point.
Banana juice is booster for hazelnuts.
What? Just stop.
Booster Juice is going nuts for hazelnut. Introducing the Nutty Monkey Smoothie, Holy Hazelnut Acai Bowl, and Nutty Booster Ball, all made with rich, creamy hazelnut spread. Try them today, only at Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
On the rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tunes.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave ya with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best Latin DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're on the rocks.
On the rocks.
Chatsworth Brab and 118th.
Don't miss a moment of Blue Jays baseball this season. Join play-by-play announcer Ben Shulman for the games live on Sports 1440. The Toronto Blue Jays are on Edmonton's home for all things sports. Sports 1440.
This summer, it's coming. An unstoppable force that will turn your home into the Sweatbox.
Don't live in a summer blockbuster. Pro Solutions is your one-call-solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. With fast appointments and flexible financing, we'll make sure your home story has a comfortable ending. AC season is coming soon, so book today.
Lock in pre-season pricing today.
Visit ProSolutionsInc.ca to schedule your service today.
Hey, Dan, want to hit the bike trails this weekend?
Oh, I wish. My bike's completely messed up, though.
Looks like someone needs to go to St. Albert's Source for Sports. This spring, hit the trails and pass with confidence behind the handles of a new Specialized bike. Because you're guaranteed to keep on riding at St. Albert's Source for Sports.
Ready now?
Sort of. Got the new bike.
Nice.
But I didn't think to buy a helmet.
St. Albert's Source for Sports. Your bike headquarters for over 35 years.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, Jersey barriers and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned. Over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Elks Nation. Check the new website, elksnation.ca. Articles, podcasts, and more breaking down the green and gold. The most in-depth WE football coverage online, elksnation.ca.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
And this just coming down from Mike Russo. The Ducks, they will get a very light Minnesota lineup. Jonas Brodin is going to play, but big guys, Faber, Hughes, Boldy, Eriksson, Kaprizov, no, they're all sitting out again. So the Wild are, they got nothing to play for. They're resting basically all their top guys, excluding Brodin, for a second night in a row. Wallstead will start in goal. So if you're Anaheim, you don't want to be motivated to not finish 8th. This could be it. So we'll see what happens in the final 3 days here. And the Oilers, that's why that game against Vancouver, you're going to need to win it. Make no mistake. The Oilers are going to need to win that game. Let's get to 5 questions now, brought to you by The Brick, where spring savings are here. Mattresses, appliances, furniture. You can get up to $1,800 off sofas and sectionals right now at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, question number 1. What was the biggest takeaway from the Oilers' loss last night in the shootout to the Avs?
Well, biggest takeaway is, you know what? They're getting good goaltending at the right time of the year.
Yeah, I'm with you. They kept it close against a really good team. And, you know, at the end of the day, they were one shot away from winning or losing. So I would say that encouraging for them, despite not picking up the 2 points. Question number 2 for you. Vancouver's mayor, Ken Sim, says he's bringing forward a motion in council that aims to bring a Major League Baseball team franchise to the city. Do you think Major League Baseball could work in Vancouver?
So they're going to build a stadium?
I would suppose so.
Yeah. Well, so that'd be the number one thing. Yeah. Hey, build it and they'll come. I don't have any doubt. It's a huge market, right? You could have people. Now you're going to have a dome stadium or at least a retractable. Well, hopefully a retractable roof. But like, how much is that costing them? So you're going to have a stadium first. So until you have a stadium, this is CFL expansion talk. Until you get a stadium or you have shovels in the ground, there's no reason to do it. Now I get it. That would you build a stadium if you weren't getting the league? Of course not. So you probably need some approval. So I don't know. This is a conversation that's so far down the road because, you know, Major League Baseball, I have no idea if they're interested in wanting to expand to Vancouver. I'm sure they look at Toronto's success and they're like, hey, it's another big market. Here we go. You know, you got the Canucks, but, you know, for half the year, you're not playing against them. You got the CFL. That's fine. Lots of cities have multiple teams going at once. So, but to me, I don't put much stock in it until you actually have a serious conversation to say, yeah, you build it, we'll grant you an expansion team. But if they did it, I think it would work.
Yeah, I was looking into it. The metro area of Vancouver, 3.1 million people. That puts them right in between Minnesota and San Diego in terms of population. So you have the people that would get out there. I'm on board. I don't know how realistic it is. Like you said, until we get shovels in the ground and they start actually constructing this, it is kind of a catch-22 situation. But I'm going to say yes with the hope that it happens because why not? Give them another team in Canada would be cool. Question number 3 for you. Who is winning tonight in the play-in games in the association?
Well, I guess I will stick with Phoenix, and I'm going to go with Charlotte.
Yeah, they're coming in as the favorites in this one. I'll agree with you with the Suns, but Bam, he's going off tonight. Not 80 plus points, but I think he's going to do something tonight. And the Miami Heat win, taking the coaching there in that one. Question number 4 for you. Today is National Dolphin Day. In honor of that, give me your top 3 Miami Dolphins of all time.
Well, Dan Marino. No, that's not even a discussion, I don't think. I would go. Well, I'm just going to go with Duper and Clayton and Marino.
Good group.
The trying. Probably should have somebody from the perfect. Can I go Don Shula?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. I'll put it Shula.
I'm going to go with guys that I got a chance to watch, but I'm going to throw Larry Zonka in there just because he was on the show and he was awesome. Honorable mention to Cameron Wake, who was great. If he didn't start in the NFL at 27, I think he'd be way higher up on the sack list. But my top three, Ricky Williams, Jason Taylor, and Zach Thomas. Those would be my top three Dolphins of all time. Final question for you today. On this day in history, in 1912, the Titanic hit the iceberg. Did go on to sink in the early hours of April 15th. So I think for those who were alive when it happened, probably something they'll always remember where they were. So my question for you, is there a moment in history that you will always remember exactly where you were when you found out?
No. Yeah. Go first.
Two for me, and it's tragic on both of them. Princess Diana.
Yeah.
I always remember watching a movie with my family when we found out. And then 9/11, of course.
How old are you when Princess Di passed away?
Oh, I don't know what year it was. I just remember we were watching a movie and my older sister was having a sleepover with a friend. 97, so I would have been 10.
Okay.
9/11, my dad woke me up and said, hey, plane to the World Trade Center. No idea what it was. We ran over, saw the second plane hit live.
Yeah, you were 14 then.
Yeah, I'll never forget that one. So
Okay.
those two for me, it sucks with they're obviously tragedies, but those ones stand out.
Yeah, I know where I was. Living off of White Ave in 2001. But the one for me, for sure, and I know the date, August 9th, 1988. Wayne Gretzky trade. I remember exactly where it was. It was outside. I remember because we were kids and ran into my buddy Eric Fortin's place. I remember his house because it was like a yellow house. There wasn't very many yellow houses in Beaumont, but theirs was yellow. And it was right next door. Actually, sorry, Darren McKenna was there. And Darren McKenna, we're just sitting on the couch like teenagers, like, what? They traded Gretzky? What? That because to me, it's things that you're passionate about and kind of at that age where, you're influenced by a lot of different things. But that was a big one. Like, we're all sports fans and huge hockey fans. And you're like, Gretzky got traded? Like, what? He just won 4 cups in 5 years. Like, it was wild. And there was, like, if there was rumors, I hadn't heard of any of them. Back then, there wasn't social media or anything. I hadn't heard anything. So you're just kind of like, what? Like, I remember, I think his mom was the one who stepped out the door and was like, because we were playing on this, Gretzky got traded. And we're like, what? She doesn't even know what she's talking about. So that's the one I remember for sure. It was also my grandma's birthday. So there's a lot of reasons why I remember that date, but I know exactly where I was for that one. It was a big moment. Now, obviously, in the history of the world, but I do like Gretzky trade was so big back then that my brother was traveling in Switzerland and I remember when he got home, he was on a train and the guy, oh, where are you from? Some county. He's like, oh, Edmonton. He goes, yeah, Gretzky got traded. And he was like, get the hell out of here. And so he didn't really believe the guy until he got to the major stop and had to look it up. And because the paper would come out the next day. And sure enough, like it was even on front page news in Switzerland that Gretzky got traded. So that was a pretty big deal. Yeah. In the sporting world, that was a big deal. So, yeah. I'm sure they're and a lot of like, teenager, that time of your life, it's a big deal for sure. There you go.
Doug Waite getting traded. That was a big one for my group.
When they acquired him for Essetikinen?
Traded him away. No, but getting acquired, which is probably a little too, we didn't really know about him. But when he left, that shook our friends group for sure.
Oh, yeah. No, that's fair. Well, yeah, when you cheer for a player and a team for a long time, it's, I get it. Right? Makes sense. So there's lots of ones that are emotional for people for sure. The other one, if you look at it from a local standpoint, was July 31st, 1987. Cons, you weren't even around. But I remember it for two reasons. Obviously, that was the tornado, which was brutal. But it was also growing up on a farm. I was, and I'd been driving, for almost a year, but I still was only 14, kind of late 14. And I drove in the vehicle. Now, you know what? Hey, there's police. I'm not recommending this, but hey, I'd driven on the farm all the time. And it was like, my mom needed something. So I just drove 2 News for up to myself to pick it up and was coming back. And that's when it was like, I had the radio on in the truck and all of a sudden it's like, all right, I'll watch. And you're just like, what? So yes, I remember that day very vividly. So very unfortunate for, of course, some people lost their lives and lots of people lost property. It was a brutal day. Let's get to the con man in a sports 1440 update brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. You know what? You want a memorable car? Well, you can get one at Northgate GM. No splashy deals, just a good old fashioned. Here's a vehicle. Here's the price. It's a good deal. NorthgateGM.com.
The Sports 1440 update.
Connor Unger has been reassigned from Orlando to the Bakersfield Condors. This marks Unger's second stint with the Condors after being in 12 games earlier on this season. At the NHL level, lots of games tonight. Flyers and Canadians, Devils in Boston. Islanders host the Hurricanes, Caps and Jackets. Wild up against the Ducks. The Jets head to Utah. Flames host the Avs. Penguins in St. Louis, and the Canucks hosting the Kings in the association. Playing games, Hornets and Heat at 5:30. Then at 8, you got the Blazers taking on the Suns in Phoenix. Major League Baseball, Blue Jays kicking off a series out in Milwaukee. First pitch set for 5:40. We'll join that game in progress after the Jason Gregor Show. Couple games on right now. Orioles up on the Diamondbacks 1-0. Pirates at home trail the Nationals 1-0. Giants, Reds, Tigers, Royals, Cubs, Phillies all scoreless. In the AJ Game 7 tonight between the Storm and Wolverines out in Whitecourt. Puck drop at 7, and in the PWHL, Vancouver hosting Seattle just after 8. On the pitch, the Canadian women defeating South Korea 3-1 earlier today, despite being down a player, as Jade Rose received a red card in the 27th minute. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet, Derek Bendies from NHL.com, and we'll hear the latest edition of Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Wondering what you can afford?
Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure.
Yeah, welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Howell.
Just quick answers on your budget and payments.
Bad credit? No credit? We got you.
Well, good. What's up with everybody?
To 780-777-7777.
That's check to 780 all 7.
Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence.
Facebook, X, and
Go
Instagram.
Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make
By
sense.
Alberta.
Craving your favorite mouth-watering pizza?
Mike.
Papa John's has large specialty pizzas
North
for
KGM.
only $19.99 for a limited time. Get a flavorful all the meats, the works, ultimate pepperoni, Hawaiian, barbecue chicken, and more on original thin or New York style crust. Use the code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 heating and cooling company for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle by bundling. Then you can use hot, cold, Common thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold, to the vents start pushing out tornadoes. Bundle my furnace with some AC. Gonna get a new from Legacy. Oh yeah. Save a bundle when you bundle your new furnace and AC from Legacy today. Plus no payments and no interest for 1 year. That's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
From the first pitch to the final out. Catch Toronto Blue Jays baseball games live right here. Don't miss a moment of Blue Jays baseball this season. Sports 1440 is proud to be the home of Blue Jays baseball.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off a $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
Spring into savings at the Brick. Refresh your home with huge discounts. Save up to $1,800 on sofas and sectionals. And buy more, save more. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. Dreaming of better sleep? Upgrade your mattress game and save up to 40% off select mattresses and score free delivery when you use your Flexity card. Plus, save 15% when you buy 2 or more select major kitchen appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, proudly Canadian since 1971.
Portions of this hour brought to you by CanTorque. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at CanTorque.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
10. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having a lovely Tuesday. Only got a few days left. Playoffs begin on Saturday. Don't know yet who's playing when, but all we know are the 16 teams that are in, because last night, Anaheim, by not even playing, but by Nashville losing, punched their ticket. LA punched their ticket. Philly is in to join the other 13 that were already in. And now we'll wait for the next few days to sort out who's playing who. We got 3 matchups that we know, waiting for the other 5. The Montreal Canadiens will face off against Tampa Bay. Pittsburgh is going to take on Philly. Minnesota's taking on Dallas, and that's it. The Pacific Division is wide open. So, Vegas right now is in the driver's seat. If Vegas wins their game, they're automatically first. Even if they lose in regulation, they are first. So they just need a point, and they'll finish first. The Oilers, if they win their game, that guarantees that they'll be at least second or third. Because if Anaheim wins both their games, then they'll finish ahead of Edmonton. The Oilers would be third, and the LA Kings would be in the wild card spot. But the Kings could still pass Utah for the first wild card. So not a lock yet that Utah is going to get the winner of the Pacific Division. So still lots to be sorted out in the West. Gregor Show always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Speaking of the odds, who do you think have his best odds to win the Cup? It's hard. Like, there's good teams, but we all know injuries and matchups. Like, I see why a lot of people like Colorado. I get it. But do you sleep on Minnesota or Dallas? And how hurt is Heiskanen? Right? Like, how healthy is Draisaitl going to be? What about Hyman? Like, injuries are playing a factor in the West for sure. In the East, we know Hedman is out for Tampa Bay. That's a big blow for them. Although he's only played 33 games all year, so they've kind of gotten used to playing without him. We'll see about some of the other potential injuries and stuff, matchups. Should be fun. Can't wait for the madness to begin on Saturday. Now let's get to the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialist. And they are hiring. If you're looking to work for a great company that will give you an opportunity to advance yourself with a great career, go to gsconstruction.ca and look up careers. As Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. Spec, how you doing?
Oh, pretty fair. Pretty fair. You got her all sorted out. Who's finishing where? You got your tickets booked to round 1 already?
Oh, I have no idea where they're playing. But right now, especially with who Minnesota is not playing tonight, the Anaheim Ducks got a good chance. Like, Edmonton, Anaheim, like, I'd probably have to look at mathematically. I think that's the best odds of who the Oilers will play. And we'll see if it comes. And realistically, if you're Edmonton, like, I know no one will ever say it publicly, but that would be the best matchup for them.
Well, let's reverse engineer this thing. The Oilers, if the Oilers win against Vancouver on home ice in Game 82, they're guaranteed to be at top 3 in their division. We'll know at puck drop where Vegas stands. First place might be out of reach. That's probably the case. So if you're let's say you have a choice, you could play Vegas in the first round or Anaheim in the first round. I'm sure that almost every one of our listeners would say take Anaheim for sure. And then when it comes to being second or third and starting it on the road or at home, I think that if you took a vote inside the Oilers dressing room, they would rather start in a road in that series. So right now, the only thing that can happen that is a disaster that no one wants, that would be the worst thing ever, would be to finish 4th in the division and have to go through the Central. That would be a disaster.
Yeah. And it's still possible, but, they'd have to lose to LA, lose to Vancouver, and LA would have to win both of their games, and Anaheim would have to they'd have to win one of their 2 games. So, it's not crazy to think that Anaheim could win one of their 2 games and that LA could beat Vancouver and Calgary. So Edmonton, that game's going to mean something, Spec, for sure. We don't know exactly how much, but it's going to mean something for sure. Come Thursday night.
That's okay. Like, I don't mind.
It's good. I think it's good to have a game that means something. Last night, pretty good game for the Oilers. It got really good goaltending, as did Colorado. So you created some chances. Neither team could really bury it until the shootout, funny enough. But I kind of liked Ingram. Like, he was pissed at himself. No one else. And he didn't hide it after the game.
Yeah, I think every goalie, I remember a shootout that Stu Skinner basically said the same thing. Don't talk to me about who shot. Don't talk to me about, how good the moves were or how great the plays were. I got to find a save in there somewhere. I can't let 3 guys shoot and 3 guys score. When you're a professional National Hockey League goalie, you don't want excuses. You don't want it. Well, it was McKinnon and Natchez. I mean, good player. They don't want any of that garbage. And that's exactly where Ingram came from last night. I got to find a save in there somewhere, somehow. So sure, he's disappointed. His team, for a team to score 2 out of 3, like there's one you want to do the math on, Jay. Go find teams that scored 2 out of 3 and lost a shootout. I'll bet you it's less than 20%. So that's Ingram would tell you that he doesn't like that and he feels like he let his team down. Now, let's preface that by saying they're nowhere near a shutout if the guy doesn't play his rear end off for 60 minutes. So no one's blaming Ingram here. But you know what? I thought about last night and I thought, you know how it works, Jay, when you lose a couple guys. They lost to Draisaitl and they still had a bunch of 5-goal games. Then they lost Hyman and they still managed enough goals for a while. But that always runs out. And I feel like it's run out. They've run out of support scoring. They've run out of scoring a bunch of goals with 2 of their top goal scorers out of the lineup. The taps kind of run dry here. It's time to get somebody back, and they've survived as long as they're going to survive. They can't continue to think they're going to win games 2-1 here. They're missing those guys. That's 80 goals in Draisaitl and Hyman, man. They're missing them.
Oh God, no question about it, right? Like you can always get away with it for a few games, but eventually it's a problem. Like look at it. So McDavid went against San Jose. It was crazy, but the other guys didn't score that game. Then the next game they didn't score a goal. Now this game they scored 1 goal with McDavid. So the last 3 games they don't have a goal without McDavid on the ice. So it is a small sample, sure, because the game before that, they scored a ton of goals. So, I'm not going to go crazy over a 3-game stretch, but you would like to have some guys get a goal before the playoffs.
Yeah, it's time. Like something's got to break here. And I think, let's see what happens if Hyman comes back on Thursday. That, just having him in the lineup will help a little. Let's remember that the fact that those 2 guys are gone has been a big reason why the power play hasn't produced, and that the Oilers score a power play goal, almost 1 goal a night during the regular season, and that's a big part of their offensive game. They get a huge boost from their power play. That boost has been non-existent. So they're going to have to figure out a way to beat Vancouver here. This game will be important, and I would say this even spiritually. You don't want to go in the playoffs after having lost to the worst team in the league in a game you were trying hard to win. That's not a great launching pad into the playoffs. If that game's meaningful and the Oilers need to win it, they're going to want to win that game. They don't want to go in the playoffs saying, geez, we tried our best to beat the 32nd best team and we couldn't beat them. That's just bad karma.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. What do you make of you think of the odds of Hyman being ready for game 1? Is he the guy you're most confident will be ready for the playoffs?
Yeah, he is, but it's all based on things being said by the head coach. And this isn't me calling Chris Knobloch a liar. I'm not saying that. But we all know that every NHL coach is filled with disinformation on injuries at this time of year. So I preface any opinion I have. I don't have a source in the medical room that's given me stuff. You probably have a better one than I do, but it sounds very much like Hyman will be ready to play Thursday. But if he doesn't play Thursday, I'm going to start to get a little nervous. What do you think?
No, I don't think if he doesn't, hey, he doesn't have to play Thursday. If they think he's ready for the playoffs, you'd be like, hey, we'll just give you an extra 72 hours. Right. So, I think there's it depends maybe what's at stake in that game spec. I think that's, if the order's like, hey, we just beat Vancouver. And honestly, if you can't beat Vancouver without Hyman, then you probably got a bigger problem. But I'm not too worried about that. It's, to me, is okay. First practice for the playoffs. Now, depending if they play Sunday, do they get Friday off? I don't know. Like they might have a light skate, but then they'll definitely have a practice on Saturday. But to me, it's more so is Hyman on the ice on Friday. He's already been on the ice, but does he have a really good practice in a normal jersey? I think he's going to play in game 1 of the first round. Draisaitl, I'm probably leaning the other way. And Dickinson, I don't know anything. I don't know anything about Dickinson. Anything that's tangible to make me confident about it. I think they're uncertain because it's a deep bone bruise that they're hoping that's all it is. But until the swelling goes down, they don't know if there's a fracture underneath it. Because we saw that earlier in the year with Wallman. So I think they're being cautious because of that.
Well, the rest of this team's going to have, all the role players, like you make the point, they've come down to a position here where they're not scoring any goals that McDavid doesn't produce for them. And the rest of this team is going to have to figure that out. Like, you can't just be going in the playoffs as a one-man team here. Someone's got Ryan Nugent-Hopkins got to pick his game up. I'll tell you that right now. He has not stepped to the forefront with all these guys out by any stretch. I don't watch a game and go, man, did Nuge ever? Boy, was he impressive tonight. He's got to play better. They need more out of him.
Yeah.
And I would say they're depth guys. Someone's, get to the net, kick a puck in. Like, low to high, get a point shot in and tip something in. Someone's got to make something happen here. Standing around waiting for McDavid to do it every time. That's getting old. And I think Vancouver's a good team to do it against because they're not a very good team.
Yeah. What do you make? I asked this question, so I'll ask you, Spec. So yesterday, Winnipeg, Nashville, San Jose, Columbus, and Washington all got eliminated from the playoffs officially.
Okay.
Big day. Yeah. Of those 5, who do you think should be most disappointed in their season?
Winnipeg.
Winnipeg, yeah.
Yeah. What did you say? Winnipeg, Columbus. Give me the teams again.
Winnipeg, Columbus, Washington, San Jose, and Nashville.
Yeah, Nashville never had making the playoffs. San Jose's coming hard. I like what they're doing. They're fine. Washington was a pretty good team last year. Carberry won the Jack Adams, as I recall. Mm-hmm. They were not supposed to miss the playoffs, right? So I would say to you, Columbus is Columbus. Until they actually accomplished something in Columbus after 30 years or however long it's been, I'm never going to predict that Columbus is going to be good. They got to get good. They've been average or below average since they joined the league 100 years or whatever, 30 years ago, 28 years ago. And here we are again, close but no cigar. They fold down the stretch. I had enough of Columbus. I'll never predict them to be good until they are good. Washington and Winnipeg, those 2 teams were supposed to be playoff teams. I don't know what Winnipeg was doing at the bottom of the standings all year long. They're better than that. They got one of the best goalies in the world. They got good players. And I'd say to you this on Washington, man, we talk about retools, okay? Do we rebuild like Anaheim and San Jose? Do we retool like Washington, like the New York Rangers, like the Pittsburgh Penguins? 3 years ago, the smartest retool in the history of hockey was the New York Rangers. Remember that? Oh, man, look how fast they got good. Where are they now? They're the worst team in the East. Last year, Washington, oh, what a retool. Man, they got Protas. They got a couple other young guys. They're going to be good again. Guess what? They're not in the playoffs. So now it's Pittsburgh's turn. They're a good team. They've had a good year. They're having a way to go, Pittsburgh, and way to go, Dubas. But you can't just do it for 1 year in a row. A retool has to be you got to be up there for a while. So let's see where Pittsburgh goes. But I think Washington and the Rangers have showed us that it's easy to retool and be good 1 year in a row, but it's hard to be 2, 3, or 4 years in a row.
Well, the Oilers did it. Remember, they missed for a decade, then they made it in 2017, then they missed the next 2 years. So it's and they won a round of the playoffs in 2000.
And that wasn't a retool. That was a full-on hit the bottom of the standings rebuild.
Yeah. And they went up, and then they still fell back down.
They did. Absolutely.
And actually didn't win another playoff round basically for 5 years from 2017 to 2022. So it is I get why a lot of people talk and say, oh, they got to rebuild. It's a lot hard. You've got to be committed. You got to have an ownership that's committed for a lot of pain and losing. And even though you think you're getting closer, look at Detroit. It's 10 years now. And I don't know if they're that much closer than they were 4 years ago, to be honest. I really don't. I don't know if I look at their team and say, okay, next year, okay, yeah, that'll be it. Honestly, I don't know what direction that organization's going in to say that for sure. I look at Montreal and I say, hey, I think Montreal's should be up now. Maybe you get bad.
Good.
But yeah, look, Buffalo. Look at their Darlene and Tage Thompson. They're better players, aren't old. So, but Detroit, who's the good young player? Like I love Mo Sider and Edmonton, but DeBrincat's not that young. Kane isn't young. Larkin isn't young anymore. Like I'm not sure he's getting any better. He can probably maintain it, but DeBrincat's has been a 40-goal scorer. Great. So maybe he can maintain it, but how do they get better? So it's hard. Like in a 32-team league, it is damn hard, and it's only going to get harder when they expand again in a few years.
Well, it's funny, this is the Pacific's year to be the pillow fight, right? No one's saying the Pacific isn't the worst division in the league. It clearly is. But what I have in sort of quietly smiled at is I saw a guy on Twitter the other day out of Columbus instructing people on how bad the Pacific was, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, you're in Columbus and you're telling us what a good hockey team is, or all the guys in Toronto and Buffalo and wherever in that Atlantic division where they've had 4 rebuilds going on for 10 years in that division, right? Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, Florida, Tampa have been good. And then there's been the Leafs who are whatever they are, and 4 rebuilds at the same time. And now they're all ganging up on the Pacific because the Pacific's such a bad division. I'm thinking, oh yeah, what have you been doing for 10 years? You got Detroit and Buffalo and Ottawa and Montreal. We're all patsies for most of the last decade. And now all of a sudden they're good and everyone's flexing their muscles out there. So whatever, let's see what happens. But I'm with you on Detroit. Like, you know what? Sometimes the rebuild doesn't take, Jay. Sometimes you're the Leafs and you go rock bottom. You get your top pick in Matthews and you build a good team. But guess what? They just went through their whole cycle and they're on the back end of it and they won 2 playoff rounds. And now they got to start again somehow. And,
it's tough.
Sometimes that's what happens.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be challenging. Spec, have a good one, man. We will chat with you tomorrow.
All right, sounds good.
There you go. It's Mark Speck with the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. We'll come back. DVD joins us. We got the play-ins. We got some early games in the National Hockey League to get to games that matter for Oiler fans tonight. The Ducks, because you might meet them in the playoffs. And I guess in a roundabout way, maybe the Utah Mammoth, just if you're in a protective mode, thinking that listen to Jason loses, then even if we lose, maybe you can finish 7th instead of 8th. So those are the 2 games that matter for the Oilers. Porter Martone scores again. Oh, that guy is on fire for the Flyers. He is a handful. And I'm telling you, don't sleep on the Flyers against the Penguins. We'll return on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
One app, triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lotteries, Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play.
Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Craving your favorite mouth-watering pizzas? Papa John's has large specialty pizzas for only $19.99 for a limited time. Get a flavorful all the meats, the works, ultimate pepperoni, Hawaiian, barbecue chicken, and more on original thin or New York style crust. Use the code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So, when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately with no overtime rates. If you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All-Star Construction. And directional drilling, hydrovacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
A Saskatchewan boy who grew up loving and playing sports. At least we think he grew up. Listen to Kevin Carius weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Edmonton's home for sports. Sports 1440.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
It's here. The Ford, it's a big Not yet. The Ford, it's a big deal. Oh, guys, just wait. The Ford, it's a big deal event is on. Really? Now. Hurry in to lease a 2026 F-150 STX with black appearance package from $237 bi-weekly at 0% APR for 36 months with $54.90 down. That's like $119 a week. The Ford, it's a big deal event. Visit your Alberta Ford store or Ford.ca.
Fast track your financial goals with a special rate term deposit from Vision Credit Union. For a limited time, take advantage of a great rate on 1, 3, or 5-year terms. Plus, as a Vision Credit Union member, you can earn up to 25% more on your interest through profit shares. For details, contact your branch today or visit visioncu.ca. That's visioncu.ca.
Gearing up for the playoffs at Selly Sports Bar and Lounge. The best place to catch every second of the action. Not a bad seat in the house, tons of big screens, and a menu with something for all you hungry hockey fans. Plus, game night food and drink features and Oilers watch parties. So, catch the final regular season battles, then every playoff face-off at Selly Sports Bar and Lounge at all 3 Century Casino locations, Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mont.
Every day is game day at Century Sports Bar and Lounge.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
.534 early score that has some playoff scene. And this one, selfishly, I'd like to see. Boston leading the Devils 2-0. And the Bruins win. That means they will take on the Buffalo Sabres. And that means Ottawa would face Carolina. Ooh. And the Flyers are up 2-0. Ooh. Oliver Bonk with his first goal of the season for the Philadelphia Flyers. I got some young guys coming in, man. I'm telling you, don't sleep on the Flyers. Hey, do not sleep on them. They're going to play. I think I'm going to take them over Pittsburgh. I'm going to say it right now. I know we're going to do predictions later in the week, but I think I'm going to say it right now. I like the Flyers in that series. They're red hot. So I like the Penguins too. Don't get me wrong, but some of that, man, that got good young team in Philly. They're rolling. Now let's talk a little bit more hockey. We get to the oil report brought to you by Go Auto. And not only do they provide you with great vehicles, also they give back to the community as they've donated over $27 million back into the communities where they work. That is goauto.ca, as Derek Van Dies from NHL.com joins us. DVD, how you doing?
Good, Jason. How you doing today?
I'm good, man. Day off for the Edmonton Oilers, and then they'll get to practice, and then they got the Vancouver Canucks to wrap up the season. Entertaining game last night, I thought, for the Oilers. Like a 1-1 game that could have easily been a 3-3 game. Just some really good goaltending.
Some good goaltending, some goalposts. I think the Oilers were saved a couple times in the goalposts. Yeah, I think it was good in a sense that the Oilers want to buckle down defensively. They're back to that defense first attitude, defense first approach. Obviously, they got almost 100 goals out of the lineup in Hyman and Draisaitl missing. So, yeah, I thought defensively they played well. And I think, if anything, it really showcased that, yeah, if Connor Ingram can stay healthy, he could be a pretty good goalie in the playoffs for the Edmonton Oilers. And I think if that's the option they're going with, and basically that's kind of the only option they have right now, he looked good. He looked good. He looked solid. Like I said, what I really like about Ingram is the way he reads the game. Like, he just seems to know where the puck is going before it gets there. He reads the cross-seam passes really well. He reads the game just really well, and he's always in the right position. You have to beat him with a really good shot. And I think we saw that. And I know he was upset at himself for getting scored on the 3 shootouts. But you look at those shots in the shootout, and you're like, wow, they're impressive. Like that was a pretty impressive shootout by the Colorado Avalanche. So I think defensively they have things worked out. Once those 2 big guys get back in the lineup, their power play will be better again. It'll become that big weapon that it's been, and the Oilers will be able to grind out those games that they want in the playoffs. They want to win 3-2. They want to win 2-1. They want to be able to shut things down when they have the lead in the third period. And I think they're going in that right direction right now.
Well, yeah, you look at it outside of that Utah game. Here are the last 10 games. The Oilers defensively have been pretty solid. They're not giving up much. Now, outside of McDavid's, they're not scoring much. So they definitely need Draisaitl back. They need Hyman back. The other guys have created some chances here for sure. Now, I know it's only 3 games because the prior game they scored 5 goals. So, but in the last 3 games, their offense outside of McDavid when he's on the ice has been a goose egg. So you'd like to see them pick up. And offensively, I never really get that worried about the Oilers scoring. I think they have enough offense, especially when they're healthy. When they're not, then you know what? You might have to win a few 2-1 games in the playoffs. But Ducks, Vegas, and LA are obviously the only options they have to play. Well, I guess there's a chance they could play Colorado, but I think it's pretty slim. But let's go Vegas, Anaheim, LA. I think like Anaheim for a few selfish reasons. A, it's new. It's not the Kings. But B, I just think that they're a team that gives up a lot, and they're young and inexperienced. I think that would be an easier first-round matchup. But I've had a lot of texters saying, yeah, but there's the Gudis factor. What do you make of that? Do you think that would be any concern?
It might be because, he's not afraid to run a guy. And I think that's the thing. He might have toned it down a little bit after that 5-game suspension. So, I think it's kind of kicked in and say, hey, I can't be doing what I used to do and run around the way I used to run around. I kind of did a deep dive on the Ducks here when they were in Calgary. I went down and talked to them a lot. I just think they are a young and experienced team, and they remind me a lot of the 2017 Oilers when they kind of got back in the playoffs. Young team, a lot of talent, and they can be dangerous. And then their goalie is pretty good as well. Like, they have the decent goalie, but this is a team that falls behind all the time. They're always chasing games. They're always, down a goal. And I think that's one of the things that they needed to solve, and I don't think they have. And when you're chasing in the playoffs, it can be really taxing and be really tough. So I think that would be a good matchup for the Oilers. I think they probably prefer the Ducks to Vegas. And I don't think anyone wants to see Los Angeles in the first round again. I know I don't. Like, that's 4 times is enough. Let's move on to another opponent. Getting a little fatigued with Los Angeles. I'm sure Los Angeles and their fans are getting fatigued with the Oilers as well. So I don't think anyone wants to see that matchup, but it'll be interesting to see what happens tonight when they're in I think they're in Vancouver tonight. So if they win that game, then they kind of leapfrog the Ducks if the Ducks lose. So I don't think anyone wants to see that matchup again, but I think that would be a good matchup. Vegas, that would be a really, really tough first round opponent because there's just so much history there. And Vegas is they have so much talent. Like, they may have not put it all together this year, but they just have so much talent and so much experience. And there's another team that's built to win now. Anaheim is built to win in the future. I think they surprised a lot of people with the way they played with those young guys. And they have kind of brought in some veterans there to help out. I think John Carlson was pretty good bringing him in at the deadline to help on the blue line. So, yeah, I think if you're an Oilers fan, you're probably looking at Anaheim as maybe that team that you want to play. And if you're the Oilers, they're not afraid to start on the road. I think there's a little less pressure for them to start on the road. They can go out there and try and steal one and then kind of take control of the series there. So, yeah, I think they would prefer Anaheim. And if they start on the road, so be it. They'll go on the road and start the playoffs there.
Derek Van Diest joins us. DVD, Connor Ingram, pretty didn't shy away from that. He didn't like his shootout performance, but man, you really liked his performance in regulation time. Like, it's clear he has taken over like the number one. So my question is, would Ingram's next contract, how much of it do you think is going to play in when I talk to Term and AAV on the playoffs? Do you think he's done enough that he's automatically going to be re-signed?
Well, I think it'll be a couple of things. One, how well he does in the playoffs. That's a big thing with him. Two, what are they going to do with Jari? Like, if he's gonna be your $5 million backup, like, my God, what's going to happen with him? And three, if there's another option out there in goal this summer, if there's something that they can kind of go for and look at, I think obviously the playoffs are going to be a big thing. And he said last night that he's played 50 games in the league before. He can handle the load. He's not afraid of the load. And I think he's kind of shown that. They've kind of given him the load and said, okay, can you put 2, 3, 4, 5 good starts together back to back? And he can. And he has done. And I think the Oilers are confident in him. They're confident in his abilities. And he's obviously a well-liked guy in the room. I'm not saying that Tristan Jarry isn't, but they like him. They're rooting for him. And I think right now, I wouldn't say their goaltending situation is better than it was a year ago. I think last year where they had Skinner and they had the Pickard option, you could go with both. Right now, I think it's Ingram or bust. Just the way Jarry has not been able to find his game here since he came back from that injury that he sustained 3 games into his Oilers tenure. So it looks like you're just going with one guy, and I think that's the only thing that probably hurts the Oilers a little bit, because I just right now I don't think they have any confidence in Tristan Jarry. And you mentioned that game in Utah. To me, that was 3 bad. He let in 3 really bad goals, and I think you could see the frustration in McDavid after he let in that shorthanded goal. Sure, McDavid was frustrated with Bouchard. He was frustrated with the goal. He was frustrated all around. But those are goals you can't let in the playoffs. So I think right now that they will go with Ingram, and as long as he's healthy and playing well, and they got to stick with him. So as far as next year goes, I think that's something that the Oilers are really going to have to take a deep dive into. Where do they want their goaltending to go? What do they want to do? Because they'll have some wiggle room this year. They'll have some money to spend, and they got to make some tough decisions.
DVD, enjoy the last few days of the regular season, and then we get set for all the playoff previews. Should be fun. Have an awesome day.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me on.
There you go. That's Derek Van Diest from NHL.com. We'll come back. We got Cam Tate, the 2-minute warning, and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Don't let equipment failure stop you cold. At AWS Welding in Nisku, our factory-trained service techs are on hand for all welding equipment repairs. We're a fully warranted center for Miller, Lincoln, and ESAB. And we service all makes and models. Proper, regular service.
The red numbers on the digital clock above a door in the Edmonton Oilers dressing room.
Don't wait for a breakdown.
1440.
Book your service appointment today at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
Nothing beats getting a deal at McDonald's. Why? Because you get a deal now.
And deal later.
Redeem an offer from the latest mailer or on the McDonald's app and dig into instant savings. Plus, you earn points towards
Free McDonald's.
Now that's what I call
a double whammy of deals.
Why does that keep happening? Deals sent right to your door. Check your mailbox for the latest McDonald's mailer loaded with delicious value. For a limited time at participating restaurants in Western Canada.
Bring into savings at the Brick. Refresh your home with huge discount. Save up to $1,800 on sofas and sectionals, and buy more, save more. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. Dreaming of better sleep? Upgrade your mattress game. Save up to 40% off select mattresses and score free delivery when you use your Flexibee card. Plus, save 50% when you buy 2 or more select major kitchen appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, proudly Canadian since 1971.
He's a legend in the booth and a master on the mic.
Low Tide brings the banter weekdays from noon to 2.
Sports 1440 is where Edmonton talks sports. Get in the game. Text 833-401-1440.
Everything is going to be okay. If your debt has you feeling like you're in a free fall, you have options. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. Becoming debt-free is possible, and a personal bankruptcy or consumer proposal will get you there. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. You'll learn how a consumer proposal allows you to eliminate your debt by paying a percentage of the amount owed without interest. At Faber, we'll tackle your debt.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off a $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
A relaxing day at the lake without a Toyota Tundra can be noisy. But when you get a Tundra at your local Toyota dealer, you can take advantage of up to 11,000 pounds of towing capacity to find a quieter spot. That's better. Lease a 2026 Tundra 4x4 double cab SR5 from $149 weekly for 60 months at 5.29% APR with $8,799 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your Prairie Toyota dealer today.
Think a quality golf cart is out of your budget? Think again. At the Golf Cart People, we have a fantastic selection of fully inspected, pre-owned carts starting at just $4,500. Choose from gas, electric, or lithium-ion power to fit your lifestyle. And the best part, every used cart comes with a 1-year warranty for total peace of mind. Why wait? Get the cart you've always wanted today. Visit the Golf Cart People. Find out more at golfcartpeople.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows. Locally manufactured and installed, Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Well, the New Jersey Devils clearly want to get themselves the best possible odds in the draft lottery. They're losing 4-0. Arvidsson just scored with 7 seconds to go in the first period. So it looks like to me, good night, Irene, for the Devils and the Bruins. So it looks like Bruins, Sabres, which would mean Hurricanes, Senators. Boom. Woo-hoo. I like it. Like it. Let's get to 2-Minute Warning with Cam Tate, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. No overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. Cam Tate, of course, longtime journalist in town, 45 years. Tate man's been writing. He's always wanted to be in radio. But Cam was born with the cerebral palsy. In a wheelchair wasn't possible until now. So the wonders of technology, Cam's words come to life in the 2-Minute Warning.
The red numbers on the digital clock above a door in the Edmonton Oilers dressing room read 10:26. He stood in front of a fridge, plumb full of water bottles, in a pair of blue gym shorts, blue sweatshirt, bare feet. For the majority, he looked content, but you could tell something was on his mind, a heavy burden perhaps. Maybe he felt he was responsible for the Oilers' 2-1 shootout loss Monday night. Perhaps, too, snapping his stick mere seconds after the game ended showed his personal disappointment. Yet, such an action, an emotional outburst, if you will, showed his passion and commitment to his craft. He grabbed the fridge's door handle, pried it wide open, then, slowly and methodically, fetched just the exact water bottle. He cracked it and took a long swig. Oilers head coach Chris Knobloch came up on his left side, probably a routine visit, like the silent check-ins parents make on their sleeping children to see that they are indeed okay. The man nodded. The two spoke for a few seconds, quietly. Then Knobloch gently put his right hand on the man's right shoulder. "Good job," Knobloch said. Then the coach walked away. With his water bottle in his left hand, the man looked straight away, a little downwards. He looked at the equipment a mere few minutes earlier he got out of, and he looked at the people formed in a semicircle. with cameras, recording devices, and endless questions. He knew he was next. They were coming, and when they moved the portable horseshoe form to right in front of his stall, he walked over to answer questions. Yes, the Oilers got beat 2-1 by the Colorado Avalanche in the aforementioned shootout. Goaltenders, the last man standing in shootouts. So he could have felt he was going to be scrutinized in his media availability. The man didn't put on a ghost costume to hide his disappointment, yet he was solid. He is improving, and I'm getting more and more confident of the Oilers marching into the playoffs with this man. Connor Ingram. 2-minute warning, Gregor, Haley, Kruger. This is Cam Tate, Sports 1440.
Hey, man, it's fun. Tater giving a little inside look. I like it. It's awesome. The Oilers, there is one thing that's unique at times. In any sport in life, anything like the raw emotion, it's the one thing I kind of miss, Connor Halley, of a post-game show, is the raw emotion of your audience, of everybody else. Like right after the game, it's you win a big game, you lose a big game, you lose a hard game, whatever, like that. That emotion is just, it's hard to replicate. And I love, like in the room, I've been there to cover teams when they've lost. That's awful. I've been there when teams have won. And, it's always fun to see somebody excited. Like, doesn't change my life. I'm not celebrating. But when you see people happy, it's great at any level. I've been there. I've been like, I covered the Rush when they won the championship. I've covered other teams. I've seen teams when they lose. Obviously, being in the Elks room when they won. So, you see that. It's great. You see the devastation of being there when the Elks have lost, when the Rush have lost, when the Oilers have lost, covering the bubble. All right, saw that when Dallas lost. Like it's like the difference is stunning, of course, for anybody. But even in a regular season, man, like there are games when you just see that. I love that raw emotion that you get in postgame.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, you've done postgame, I've done postgame. You've been in the locker room for years. As you mentioned, there's just really nothing like it, right? It's absolutely awesome. And I really like what Taylor brought up there about Connor Ingram. Like, what do? You just take a glass of water. And I like to hear that Chris Knobloch goes up to him, few words. I mean, what do you say? We're in that game because of you. And let's say your positioning, keeping those pucks to posts and crossbars. Don't be too hard on yourself. Get him next time. Like, I think that's important to just kind of go reassure him that, hey, man, you played a good game. Let it go. I'm sure he's going to be the hardest critic of himself that most professional athletes are. But a good little in behind the scenes from Tater there.
Yeah, like it. Coming up tomorrow on the show, we will have Chris Pronger will join us in hour number 1 and get into it. Saw online. I'll be curious. We might even get Kevin Lowe. There's lots of people. People are wondering about his conversation in the article about how he signed the contract with the Oilers when he was drunk and then spoke to his wife. And now Kevin Lowe comes back with a comment. So we'll get into that. Of course, we should have the Eastern playoff picture. It looks like Carolina, Ottawa, Pittsburgh versus Philly, Buffalo versus Boston, Tampa Bay versus Montreal. We just don't know who's the home team for Tampa and Montreal because the Bruins are killing the Devils 4-0 after one period. So barring a miracle comeback, that's what the East will look like. Let's get to the con man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Looking for a tire? I know you're dreaming about it. It's warming up. You need some summer tires? Get them right now, only at fountaintire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Busy night in the NHL after 20 minutes.